Good morning, good afternoon, good night, viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. We are on again in regular schedule. This is Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. It's on live today in January 19, Saturday of 2019. I welcome our viewers all over the world, wherever you are. This is your forum. As you can see here, we have a very, very important topic we are going to discuss tonight. Could be in morning, today, for you there. As the topic is stated here, what are the impact of culture? Okay, impact of culture, of defection and succession within South Sudanese politics. And also on the topic, is Angelina Teny is in charge of SPLM Mayol, or is she a co-chair of Dr. Riek Machar? So it is very clear there from our topic that what we are going to discuss today, we are going to talk about the defection. We are going to talk about the culture of defection. We have seen so many over and over again, defection happening within the party, within the government, within the rebel, within everywhere. Massive defection within South Sudanese politics. So we want to examine that, why that thing is happening. Is it become a culture? And also we are focusing on Angelina Teny because so many things have been raised within the SPLM-IO. I know that she's very intelligent, she's a very smart woman within the SPLM-IO, but some people though have different opinion, because some people, they feel like she's a bullying, she's a manipulator. So be with us. We are going to discuss this together tonight. As usual, as you know, on our program, we do not tolerate those who like to insult each other. We can agree, we agree here to disagree, and that's the way politics work. So one more time, I welcome all of you for joining me here on this live show on Saturday 19, 2019. Let me go ahead and play a little bit of music, and then if you are ready, you will be more than welcome, you know, to participate on this show today. I don't have main guests. Everybody's welcome. It's open forum for all public. So you should be able to participate. Again, thank you for welcoming you, for coming to this show and becoming part of it. Let's go ahead. Go ahead and send. I see that some people are sending their requests. But keep in mind, if you have an issue, if there is an issue of echo on your phone, if you have an echo on your phone, just want to give you a heads up, please try to find a headphone. I don't want to remind you one more time. When we are live and when you send in a request, try to have a headphone so we can avoid that echo, all right, whatsoever. We want to avoid that echo. And try to boost your network, please. Boost your network, because we don't want to say, hello, who is there? Hello, are you there? That's not good, because we wanted to do this professionally so people can be benefiting, people can listen and enjoy listening and contribute in a very respectful manner. So thank you so much. Go ahead and send in your requests. And don't forget to have that a headphone by you. Somebody's already sending the angry face in the morning. I don't know what's wrong with them. If you are not comfortable with discussion, why don't you just leave and let those who want to discuss this topic, be there, and instead of exhausting yourself, stressing yourself out with concerned citizen. If you are really not concerned about what we do, and if you are not interested about what we do, I ask you to excuse yourself instead of sending angry face, because that's gonna put more stress on you and more anger on you, and you don't want to be that. Don't want to do that, because it's not healthy for you actually. Okay, thank you. Let me go ahead here and call. Somebody requested. I'm gonna go ahead and call that person.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan.
Yeah, Comrade Jongkor, how are you doing?
I am doing great. You, Tor, right? I having a hard time saying the last name, but it's okay. Welcome, Tor.
Yes. The subject of your show is a very important issue in light of what is taking place in South Sudan. Regarding the defection, the culture of defection that has been taking place in South Sudan, I think there is no in South Sudan there is no accountability there is no accountability, and the leadership of South Sudan is not doing its part because to say that some people should not defect is to make sure that there is justice, there is accountability, because it is not the first time for the South Sudanese generals to defect when they are not appointed. When they are not appointed to certain government position. Two, appointment in the government, they are not done based on merit and based on capacity, but they are done based on sometimes tribal, on the basis of ethnicity, and this always led to some of the people who are incapable to be appointed into government. When these people are dismissed, they will think of rebellion in order to be appointed again. Second, for the case of Angelina Teny, Mama Angelina Teny, I think.
Before you go for case of Angelina Teny, you gave a good insight. You gave your own insight. I should not say a good insight, but you gave insight why people defect, and you think is the government is the reason, because they appoint people not based on merit, not based on qualification and capability, what they can do, but it's based on nepotism, based on tribal. I got your point. But don't you see that the defection, it didn't even started with the Kir administration. This defection thing, it started since 1983. If you go back to Abdullah Shwal, and Guy Tut, okay, and coming, even Dr. Jongkor defected too, but people, don't know about this, but defection of Jongkor, it was good defection. So when they have that disagreement with the Quad attempt, the formation of SPLA, those who wanted to continue to say it's a Nyanya too, and Dr. Jones says we should call it SPLA. You see that the defection started there too. So Dr. John and with the other group, they got rid of Quad attempt, and then they formed an SPLA. That's a defection too. And then the movement continue until 1990s. I would say 1991, and then defection of Carbino Kwanyin Bol, defection of Riek Machar, defection of those who left with Riek Machar and others. And then it keep going on, Kwe and Lual, and so many, Okay, and then before we gain independence, after CPA, also Salva Kiir may have defected, but people don't mention this. Kiir defected from the SPLA.
Yes, in 2004, yeah.
And you remember the big conference that took place in Rumbek to bring him back, because actually he decided, and he was saying that Dr. Jongkor actually is manipulative and is just a dictator. That's what he used to call. He said Dr. John is the dictator. And then why?
Okay, Jongkor, brother Jongkor, let me come in here.
Yeah, I will give you.
Let me come in.
I will give you a chance. So
now you have gone.
It has been going on for quite a bit, right? Go ahead.
I can see. I can understand. That discussion on this defection, culture of defection in South Sudan. That we have to go back to the 1980s.
Yes.
And even before this. I think the defection between the disagreements between John Garang and those of Abdullah Shwal, I think it was not a defection. Rather, I can call it split within the Anyanya rebels. John Garang, who was coming from the Sudanese army, when he came to the bush, there was already a rebellion in the bush. Before he came to the bush, there was already a rebellion. And when he came, he wanted to change the objective of the rebellion. Because John Garang wanted to fight for a united and reformed Sudan. And those who were already in the bush, they were calling for the separation of South Sudan. Because if we can go back to the 1955 Torit Mutiny, those who rebelled, they wanted to have a South Sudan, rather than John Garang, who wanted Sudan to remain united and to change the objective of the rebellion. This resulted into fighting between the separatists and unionists. The unionists were led by John Garang, and the separatists were led by those of Abdallah Shwal, those of Quat Atem, and those of Samuel Gaitut. So it was a split between. It was not because of appointment, like what we are witnessing today in South Sudan.
So you believe now?
I think
listen.
Again.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So you believe now all this massive defection that happening, since 2005, before we gain independence, they are just based on the position. That's what you're telling me, right? Okay. Now,
what I'm saying, the defection, although there had been defections before independence, in 2010, because we would say that after the CPA, most of the defections, Georgia Thor defected because there was no transparent elections in Jonglei State, and the SPLM government was not ready to welcome independent candidates into the government, because if you see Deng Athor and those of Yao Yao, most of them they were in the elections of 2010. If you can see also in Unity State, although Angelina Teny didn't rebel, no transparent elections were reached by the SPLM in favor of Tabandeng, okay, the incumbent
governor,
first vice president. Yeah, and this is all the international observers. They say this, that there was irregularities in Unity State during elections in Unity State. So I can say,
to keep this thing short, because we don't want to go over and over. So you come to conclusion that most of the defection are resulted because of the position, but there are a few, like Georgia Thor. It has something to do, with transparency in an election that was rigged in 2010, on his expenses. That is not a loyalist, and then there are some loyalists. They should be, awarded, like Sajid Taban. But later, Taban actually, joined the government and went to IO and defected from IO again. So it's something really. Now I want you to give me your insight of Angelina, because people have. Angelina is not getting along with people. SPLM IO was dying, but
before
it has a lot.
It
has a lot of influential people. Left SPLM IO. We know their names. So many people left, but we wonder why people are leaving SPLM IO. But they start speaking out, and even though I get private messages, from individuals within the SPLM IO, that Angelina actually she's manipulated, she's bullying, she's doing a lot of things. She feels like she's in charge. She can do whatever she wants, behind. So what is your insight on that?
Okay, before I come to the case of Angelina, let me conclude my insight on the issue of defection. After 2010, what happened in Juba in December 2010? We know there was defection. There was defection of Gadet in Jonglei. There was a defection of James Kongshon in Unity State, and there was defection all over the country. There were reports that 70% of the South Sudan army rebelled. But what I can say, it was not the defection. Those who rebelled, including Riek Machar, who fled Juba and later formed a rebellion, all of these people, they were defending themselves because, as a matter of fact.
But you said earlier, you said that those people are defecting because they are looking for a position. So are you taking that one back?
No, I didn't say that. There are people who defected because of position. And the example is the current commander of Division 3. The current division of Division 3, the guy who is so-called.
Who is that?
The guy who defected to the SPLM-IO and then switched again. The contender for gubernatorial position in 2010, who compete was Paul Malone. Yeah, I have forgot.
You are talking about Dawa Tujung?
Yeah. Yeah, Dawa Torjong. Dawa Torjong defected. Dawa Torjong defected to join Riek Machar, not based on principles, but because of position. These are the people that I meant defected because of position. But what I can say, there are those who defect because of position, and there are those who defect because of what is going on in the country. Okay. And everybody know this. On the case of Angelina Teny,
and Ulin also.
Before Angelina could become a wife of Riek Machar, Angelina is South Sudanese.
Correct.
and is a South Sudanese, is intellectual, and we know she has previously served as the state minister of mining in the government of Sudan before separation. He was appointed as chairperson of National Committee for
if you hear
security
me,
and
do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want you to go back and give me background of Angelina. We know Angelina who she is. We know she is intellectual. She has been, she has been in government before. But now there's a lot of issues within the SPLM-IO. That Angelina, she's manipulating, she's the bullying, she's in control, she's the one that if she say no, no. If she say yes, yes. So that's why I put here, she is a coach.
No, it's not manipulating. It's not manipulating. It's not manipulating.
Go ahead.
Because he has been appointed to head the SPLM-IO committee, SPLA-IO committee, security committee in Juba. Because she is the chairperson of National Committee for Security and Defense.
And why people?
And she was not appointed because she is the wife of.
Because she's
people
the wife
are not.
Listen, because she's the wife of.
People are not defecting because of Angelina.
Because she's the
people
wife.
are not defecting. People are not defecting because of Angelina. For example, Tabandang defected. Was she defecting because of Angelina? No, she was not defecting because of Angelina. She was defecting because of his principles.
Okay. Listen to me.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
And this movement, the SPLMIO, doesn't belong to somebody.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, if you hear me sometime when I try to interject, just stop and let me talk. That's the way, discussion works. You cannot just continue talking. So now you said that those of Taban, they were defected. But when Taban defected within the SPLMIO, I'm not talking now about the government now. Now we move from that, we close that chapter. We are talking about the IO, why people are defecting from the IO, and then when they go out, they can claim that Angelina is the reason. Just 2 days ago, 4 days ago, you saw that, Johannes also resigned, and he indicated that Angelina is the reason. A and B and C and D and D, and so on. And there are so many people, we talk in private. They talk, they say, Angelina, she's doing this, she's doing this, she's doing this, she's controlling this. It's become like a family. That's why I want to get your perspective on that. We are not talking about the government. We are talking about Manzoom of the SPLMIO, why people are defecting. And they are blaming Angelina. Okay,
that is a very good point.
Go ahead.
That is a very good point. You have mentioned the case of Johannes Musafo, for example. Johannes has been the representative of the SPLMIO to the state of Qatar. Okay, and since he was deported from Qatar, because he was deported, Johannes was deported to Khartoum because he break some rules. Yeah, he was deported. He was deported in 2015 by the state of Qatar, and he was taken to Khartoum. When he was deported, he came here to Egypt. He has a friend in Canada who told him to go to Egypt, and from Egypt maybe he would be resettled to Canada. He came here because he was not dismissed. He was not dismissed, and he has no connection with Angelina. He has no connection with Angelina.
So what
there is nothing that can.
So whatever he said, are you telling me that whatever he said is false? It's not true?
Yes, I mean politicians. They have to look for a scapegoat. They have to look for a reason. If Johannes failed to get a reason for his defection, he has to use Angelina as his scapegoat.
Okay. With that, actually, I'm gonna have to get Johannes, if he's ready one day, to come to our show and clarify why he defected, because he mentioned so many points that Angelina was the reason, and they're so manipulated. And even though, young Matthew, he used to be an IO, and there was a clash too between him and Angelina. Also, those of Diomato, they were there, on IO, and they decided to go because of issue raised, Angelina, Tama, and so many things that we will be talking. Anyway, Tor, thank you so much for coming and speaking here in Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Say your last word before I let you go. Your last word.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. My last word is this. Before we became a part of the government of the SPLM, and before we are members of the SPLMIO or any other political party in South Sudan, we are South Sudanese. So there is need for us to sit and stop the culture of oppression and the culture, so that the culture of rebellion can stop. Let us use transparency, accountability in South Sudan, so that we can stop the culture of defection. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Todd, for coming and having your insight on concerned citizens of South Sudan. We will continue.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and see who else I have requested. Everybody, involved, invited. Send in your requests. You need to be part of this discussion today. The culture of defection and secession in South Sudan. And also, we raise issue of Angelina Teny being manipulated within the SPLM-IO. Some people think that she's a bullying. Some people think that she's the woman that running everything. We know that she's smart. We know that she has done a lot. She's behind her man. But many people, disagree with her. That's Angelina actually. If she didn't say yes, and then everything cannot go forward. So go ahead and send in your requests. I'll bring you in. See that, Tom?
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Yes.
Yes, how are you?
See you. I am doing great. Yeah, we hear you very well. You don't need to pick it up. We hear you very well.
I don't know. Is it my headsets? I'm not getting you
Your
properly.
headset is perfect. We hear you very well. You don't have any problem. So now.
Okay.
As you can see, our
first and foremost, I would like to thank you for always conducting such shows when it comes to our political issues in our country. So thanks for bringing me into your shows, by the way.
Thank you. There's a music background there. Music is too loud.
Oh, I'm in a public place, so I don't know what to do.
Okay, go ahead. Don't
worry. As long as you can get me, that is okay. So according to your topic, I really appreciate you for bringing across such a topic, especially at this moment. In South Sudan, when the war broke out in 2013, there are a lot of reasons why a lot of people defected, There are other people who defected just because they opposed the system.
So, Bani, the defection actually didn't start in 2013 only. As I stated from the beginning, the defection started since 1983, even though within the SPLA, the Anyanya too, Dr. Jongkor, they have disagreement there, and then some of them went in their own way. And then they continue in 90s, their massive defection also. And even Salva Kiir himself defected, from SPLA. You remember in 2004 in Rumbek, right? So actually, the notion that the defection is started in 2013 is not true. The defection has been there. That's why I put it impact of culture of defection. It became culture in South Sudanese politics, Go ahead.
Yeah, I got that. I know defection has been part of our blood indeed. Let me say that. But we are talking about the current defection, what we have in our country now. So allow me to talk about what occurred in 2013 and why other people are defecting within the SPLM-IO. And also, I would also like to talk about the issue of Angelina.
I just want to get the impact of defection. Malish, I'm sorry. You can see that the topic say, what are the impact of culture of defection? This is what we want to know. What are the impact of culture of defection, and secession within South Sudanese politics? And also the issue of Angelina Teny. Is Angelina Teny co-chair of SPLM-IO with Dr. Riek Machar? These are the two topics that we are talking about, my brother. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, I get you, but the issue of defection is to some of us is not all about is not all about the interest, or it's not all about what we want. It's all about the future of our country. You get me? So when we defected in 2013, it was not all about the influence, but it was all about the issue that was taking place within the country. So when it comes to what we have today in our country, because some of us are in opposition. So when you find yourself in opposition, you don't need to talk about issues that concern you as an individual, but you have to put the country first. You know, you don't need to be in opposition just because your fellow tribal mate is with you, but you have to be there just because you have to be there because you know it's going to bring about reform in the country. Okay, so to me, it's not all about the the word. I don't know how to term it, by the way. It's not all about
The
the,
culture.
the it's not all
You try
about
to
the
say
culture. It's not
position
the culture, okay? Yeah, it's not the culture that we have to defect. But we find ourselves defecting because it's the right thing to do at the right time, okay? So to me, it's not a culture. It's not a culture that is within our blood, okay?
but it's too much. You
Yeah.
know, imagine since 1983 all the way now, 90% of South Sudanese politicians, they are defected. They either move from SPLM to another one, or from SPLM to another one, or from SAP to another one. They keep moving around. It become too much. That's why I call it. It becomes like a culture, because when people are doing things more often and more often, it becomes part. And if it becomes part of them, it becomes culture. Correct?
You know, brother, you are right about that. This is why I wanted to talk. That's why I wanted to begin from the issue of defection at the first place. First and foremost, this is why I told you that there are others who defected because it was affecting them personally. Others defected because they were after position. You know, there are others who also defected because they feel it's the right thing, it's the right time to bring reforms in our country.
Yes.
So to me, this defection that we are in today is full of confusion. You know, there are others who defected because of position, like I told you. There are others who defected because they feel it's the right time to bring reforms in our country. There are others who also defected because they, they, they were afraid of the situation. You know, like for me, I escaped. You know, so I defected because I want to escape from the situation.
Yeah,
Okay, then
my brother, but with all this defection now, did it help? Did it help the case? Did it help those politicians? Have they got the position that they were looking for, or did it achieve the goal that they were defected for? Because you cannot keep doing things every time over and over again, and you don't see any good result. So my question now, did we get the result that we have been defecting all these years?
Okay, to me, I cannot say that we got it already because we still struggle to get what we want. You know, first of all, we defected because someone like me, I defected because it was affecting my life, because it affected my family. Then I feel like it is the right time to also find a way to bring reforms in the Republic of South Sudan, whereby it doesn't have to affect anybody the way it has affected me and my family again. So I have to say enough is enough. So to me, we haven't yet reached to the point that whereby we can say that at least we bring reform to our country. We haven't yet reached to that point. Okay, so to me
Okay.
it is not yet.
Thank you. Thank you. Now let's move on to issue of Mrs. Teny, Angelina Teny. We are well know that she's a smart woman. Actually, she's very intelligent. I met her. once in 2015, October 14 in 2015 in Salt Lake City, United States. And actually, there were a conference, a delegation that led by Dr. Riek Machar came to United States. They were touring all these states. And then I asked Dr. Riek Machar three questions on that hall. Dr. Riek Machar didn't answer my question. And actually, I was restrained to ask a question. But I broke that strain because people don't want to give me a chance because there is notion that fear this guy is gonna ask chairman stupid question, or there's no stupid question, And I was there, and what I did actually, I just stand up and I start talking, within the crowd, and I said, this is not right. If you guys working for a reform and democratic transformation, you should allow people to express. You should allow people to ask questions.
Yeah.
Actually, I give credit to Diomato. And other people say, okay, sit down, we will give you a chance. But they did not want to give me a chance. Finally, when Diomato got a chance, he got a mic, actually asked Dr. Riek Machar, he said, please, Mr. Chairman, I ask you to give young men an opportunity to ask a question. That's the time that I have a chance. And I had 3 questions to Dr. Riek Machar and to SPLM-IO. Dr. Riek Machar didn't answer my question when he was answering questions. But Angelina stood from the corner because she was sitting in the corner and came in front of me, and she answered all the questions in details. So I give her credit. She's very intelligent woman. But now things have been going up and down, and a lot of people are complaining about her. Why is it her? Why is it that? Is she become a co-chair of the SPLM-IO, or what it is? I'm wondering. Go ahead.
Okay, first and foremost, this is a good question, and I like it the way you put it across, and I like it that you witness on your own that Angelina Teny is a very wise woman.
She is.
Thanks to that you did recognize that on your own. First and foremost, I would like to say that Angelina is not a co-chairman to His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar. Angelina is doing her job, okay? Angelina is trying our level best to be in position to see the movement reaching in a place whereby it can benefit all of us, including those who are not even part of the SPLM-IO. Angelina today is putting herself in that position whereby a mother can put herself, I can be first and foremost. Let me say that the problem to most of our comrades or to most of the South Sudanese is that all they want is like they always want to be close to the chairman, or they always want to be favored. Okay, so when they are in position not to connect to the chairman, then they bring this excuse whereby they will be saying that the problem is Angelina, we are not reaching the chairman because of Angelina, this is happening because of Angelina. No, okay, it's not all about Angelina. Chairman is doing his own job, okay, and Angelina is doing her own job, okay, in the position that the movement has tasked her, okay, to do, okay. Like, for example, Angelina is like in a party, you don't need to look at Angelina as a wife of Dr. Riek Machar. You have to see Angelina as a comrade, okay, who is doing our own business in the party, okay, who is doing our own level best to see that the movement can be in position to reach where we want, okay. So to me today, like most of the people who keep defecting and complaining about Angelina, I can say these are just baseless accusation, okay. They just want to get ways, okay, to get out of the movement so that they can be in position to get position where they are going. For example, if you talk of
I have a question.
If you talk of the case of I
have a question. So if you think all these are allegations, accusations are baseless, don't you feel that Angelina actually doesn't want to empower people? Because when they empower people, I mean, when they appoint them in committee or whatever, recommendation, those people, they tend, you know, to go and look for their own interests. For instance, those who were with him, you have Taban, you have Diomatok, and then finally they went there and they stay with the government. But in case of this young man, Johannes, the guy has been defending SPLM-IO for, you know, aggressively all over in the media, in Middle East, you know, in all social media, you know, has been defending SPLM-IO. Why is it so hard to just go and get somebody who is a student at the university to put in committees and leave the guy who was in the field doing the job out? Don't you see that is something that can bring bitterness, you know, between them? Because that's the way I see. I didn't speak to him until now. I didn't speak to Johannes. But don't you see that it can bring more bitterness between Angelina and those who are there in SPLM-IO? They want to rise, but Angelina keep pushing them down. Oh, sit down, sit down, sit down. No, go ahead and give me your perspective.
Okay, first and foremost, it is it is not Angelina Teny that delegate people into their positions. Okay, it's not.
She's the head.
She's not
the head of the committee now. She's
yeah,
the one that puts people in the committee.
she's the head. Yeah, she's the head, but she's not the one to identify or to select people to be to be part of to be part of different committees. You know, there are always heads of the SPLMIO that always do the selections. You know, from different background, whereby they sit and they identify different people from different background or from different positions, whatever they may be, to go and represent the movement at the right place whereby they are supposed to be. So to me, with the case of Yohannes Musa, my brother, I have to tell you the truth. I have to be honest with you, okay? We are having a lot of problem nowadays, to an extent whereby there are people who are pretending to be part of the movement while they are not part of the movement. They are here with us, just to look for people or just to create this unity within the movement. But they are pretending that they are part of the movement while they, in actual sense, they are not part of the movement. They are
So
agents to Taban.
You are saying that some people there to promote their own, you know, agenda, or just to rise up, and then later, if they are shine on the spotlight, and then they will leave. That's what you're saying?
Come again?
You are saying that there are some people who want to be in the spotlight. Being with SPLM-IO, they want to be in the spotlight to be recognized, and then later they can leave. That's what you're saying?
That is what I'm saying exactly. That means you got me. There are people who are within the movement. They are having two legs, you know. One leg is the other side, one leg is this side. So they are waiting for this food that has been cooked up by another person. So they want to make sure that where there is food is where they go. So they stand with two legs, just like this. They are waiting for the right place to go. So to tell you today, with the case of Yohannes Musa, me personally, I've realized I'm here in Egypt with Yohannes Musa. You know, I've realized long time ago that this guy have defected, okay? Because there are several meetings, there are several places where I met him. Then the message that he gives the people is not a message that you should be giving to your fellow comrade. It's a message that tells that this person is no longer part of you, okay? So to me, I know that Yohannes Musa was not part of us, is somebody else's.
Wait. So what message do you want to hear from him? Or what message do the fellow the followers I want to hear? Is it a message of radicalization? He need to be radical? Or message of diversity, or message of being, because he's a politician at the end of the day, right? He has to be politically correct. So what kind of message, you know, you didn't like from there?
You know, at this time of the moment, the message that we are supposed to portray to our people is a message of diversity, you know, a message of peace, a message of love. It's not a message to criticize, you know. You cannot be under someone, then you are always coming up with critics. You just when you meet your fellow comrade, you just come up and say, comrade chairman is this, the other person is this, the other person is this, but you don't talk about the other side. Okay?
Yes, but don't you think that criticism is a good thing? That's why we have been sitting, and that's in the first place people defected from Salva Kiir Mayardit because it was he's a dictator, and then you didn't like what he's doing. I didn't like what he's doing, and that's why we are talking about him, and that's why some people are carrying the gun. So why is it okay to criticize that guy, that dictator, and then within your organization you don't want to accept the criticism? Then so what are we doing here? So we are playing a hypocritical, right?
Listen here, bro.
Yeah.
You know, the problem, even me myself, when I have a problem with the chairman, okay, if I have a disagreement with chairman, like recently there is the issue of our land, okay, the issue of Law Nuer land. I'm from Law. There is the issue of land. There is a degree that came out from chairman, but you haven't. If you go onto my timeline, you cannot find out that Comrade CDR Ben Bomkos disagree with the degree that came out from the chairman. It's because I respect, you know, the top leadership. If you disagree with chairman and you know you have connection, you know, with the top leadership, all you need to do is like follow the right procedure. Okay, I don't need to go and talk to comrade that chairman is this and that, or the other comrade is this and that, to discourage others. Remember, there are other people who are within SPLM-IO because you yourself, you are within the party, okay? So if you come out today as the voice of the people or as the representative, you are saying that the chairman is this, so chairman is weak, chairman is this, chairman is that. So that means even these people will be in position to leave the movement, okay? So you don't need to criticize. At this moment, people like Yuan spoke who are representing people like, because he's representing us in Qatar, first and foremost, what he should be giving out at this time of the moment where we have peace in the country is to try to preach peace, okay? To try to preach peace and sensitize people. How about why did we sign this peace? What are the benefits of this peace to us, the people of South Sudan, or to us, the people of SPLM-IO? And what he has to do now at this particular moment is to bring other people from outside to the SPLM-IO, but not to show other people from outside that SPLM-IO is not good, SPLM-IO is this and that. So for me, I completely disagree with him, and this is a clear this is a clear message that he has been within us, just an agent to try to create disunity among us, or to try to take away people like he did. Okay? So even me now, I'm pretty sure that he's having other people around us who are just here pretending to be members, but are just trying to bring, to create chaos or misunderstanding. Then by the time they are in position to live, they will be in position to live with other people. So my dear brother, to me, I completely disagree with those people who just wake up from nowhere. Then they be saying that Angelina is that, Comrade Chairman is this. No, Angelina is, don't look at Angelina as a wife of Comrade Chairman. Look at Angelina, okay, as a head, okay, as a person who is intelligent to try to change the country or to take the country to another level. So that is the message I can, this is what I think, okay? And I think this is what is right, even you do believe that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I really, really appreciate you, Bonnie, for coming on and speaking to the people of South Sudan through our forum. It was good having you. So please try to have a safe day there. And I know, is there any way there now? I know that Salva Kiir came to Cairo. He visited Egypt.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Is there any way that Salva Kiir tried to meet with South Sudanese? It doesn't matter, you know, they are IO or not non-IO. Is there any way that the president is going to meet with South Sudanese in Cairo, Egypt?
Yeah, for sure. The president came here. But the way, first and foremost, let me say, the way they receive our president disgusts everyone, okay? Even us who are here. Because like now we are having peace in the country. President Kiir is my president. I can admit that. He's my president. We are having peace. I have no problem with him. If he approach that he want to meet South Sudanese, I'm a South Sudanese. I can go there and meet him. But the way they receive our president, it was the Minister of Water that received the president. First and
Minister of
foremost,
Water and Irrigation?
Minister of Water.
So, but this is what I want to say. South Sudanese should not take this personal, because the respect, you earn the respect. Respect, people cannot give it to you. You earn it the way you behave, the way you interact, the way you treat your people. So the notion that every country have their own way of doing things, but our president has not showing that irrespective citizen even, and why do you expect other people will respect him? If you are not respecting your own citizen, and if you are not behaving the way that presidents all over the world behave, you think people are going to respect you? I didn't feel bad for him because he deserved it. When he landed in Cairo, he landed with the airplane written on that airplane
Rwanda Airlines.
So what does that mean? And there are many actually. We're supposed to have a republic playing for the president of the Republic of South Sudan. Actually, he undermined the country already. He has been undermining the country. So you should not feel sorry, brother. Let him go. He wants to be that way.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait. Before you take me up, so you asked me a good question. So let me answer you. So, like, seriously, that was what happened. If you also see the way when he went into the White House, there was an Egyptian flag somewhere next to the president of Egyptian. Then next to him, there was nothing like South Sudanese flag. That means we are not existing. Okay.
Yeah.
There is no respect for our country.
And
so
he's
this
the
is
one
really
that
disgusting.
he's the one got up to that point. He's the one got up to that point. So.
And first, like seriously, I do not blame the president, but I also blame those people who are moving with him. Why they didn't ask for South Sudanese flag? If I were there, I would say I want my flag to be here. So to your question, I think he met with those people representing us here, those especially the ambassador here. I saw there is a certain video, and I heard that he met them. So I think they discussed several issues, and they asked him several questions concerning the peace agreement. So I think he had answered them, and I think this time, let me hope the president is meaning peace and is going to implement peace in letter and spirit. So let me think. Let me hope this time around is all about peace and there is change. And change will come in our country, and let us just wish all about the best.
Malish,
Okay.
I have to apologize to our viewers because it took long, with you. Let me ask you the last question here. Please be brief.
Okay.
Why Dr. Riek Machar is not speaking to the press? Since the peace was signed, why Dr. Riek Machar, the chairman, is not speaking to the press? Why? Why is not speaking to the media?
Currently, I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but what I think is Comrade Chairman is not in position to speak to the press because is not ready to speak to the press simply because he has not yet taken over his duty. Okay. There are people now representing. No. Listen. This is it.
I'm not talking about.
You asked me a question, so you have to. You asked me a question, so you have to accept my answer. Okay. So what I think is there are people that are representing SPLM-IO, and those people are already in Juba. They are doing their job. So if you want anything to do with SPLM-IO, you go and ask the deputy chairman. They are in position to answer you. Go and ask.
They refuse.
No.
I send messages to a deputy. I send messages to a spokesperson. I send messages, even though to Angelina Teny that we are talking about. For the last 7 months, she has been telling me that I am busy. She's still busy until today. Every time.
Okay. What I think is ongoing now is just Comrade is trying to respect the work of those people who are delegated to represent the movement, whatever they may be. So if you want anything to do with the movement, there are those people who are doing their jobs. They are to represent the SPLM-IO. They are available at any time that you want to meet them, at any time you want to talk to them. You can meet them and talk to them, but to Comrade Chairman, he has not yet taken over the office, so he's not in position to answer.
I don't have to meet them in private.
To talk to the media.
I want them to come and talk to the people of South Sudan through our forum, because our forum actually is widely reached by the people of South Sudan. But they have refused. They have refused totally. They don't want to come here. You know, for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have been contacting them. I send emails, WhatsApp, messaging. They refuse. Even the deputy, you know, spokesperson, I talked to him on the phone, but he said yes, and he never called me back.
Okay, anyway, then we are going to advise them maybe to consider that, because it's really very, very important. At this moment, SPLMIO need people, okay? We need many people from all the corners of South Sudan, from all the 64 tribes, because we are going to election, okay? If you are going for election, that means that you need to talk to the people. You need to be available to everyone, okay, and to every media, just to be in position to capture people, or to capture people from different.
Okay. Hey, Baboni, thank you so much for coming on. We took a long time.
All right.
It was okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. You know, you have a good day then.
All right then. Any last question, or is enough?
No. We did cover everything. Thank you.
How about my message to my people?
Thank you.
All right then.
All right, Jamal, sending your request. I know that I've seen so many requests came in. I have like, like 6. أهلا وسهلا تشيف مانولا جاوين مرحب بكم مرة أخرى. I don't know. I don't know, man.
يا حبيبي أيام عمرنا نعيش جنة مفرحة.
عبد الله قرن دعوة معك calling you right now.
Hello.
أهلا وسهلا عبد الله قرن, good to see you brother. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan.
Thank you. Are you hearing me?
Yeah. سامعينك وانت واضح جدا يا عبد الله قرن. تفضل.
شكرا brother Jongkor for bringing this topic, because it's very important to discuss.
نعم.
Impact of culture defection. أنا داير أبدأ من الculture defection من التجربة بتاعتي أنا في وسط الجنوبيين.
نعم.
لما كنت رئيس للاتحاد الطلاب الجنوبيين بولاية خرطوم. أنا لاحظت إنه الروابط دائما هم يعني منشقين، يعني ما في رابطة يتم تأسيسه.
Okay.
And within 3 months بكون في مشكلة بين الرئيس ونائبه، بكون في مشكلة بين الرئيس والرئيس المجلس ورئيس المجلس. وبعد شوية بكون عملية بتاعت مشاكل وانشقاقات، مرات بتصل لدرجة إنه الرابطة تجمد.
واو.
فهذا السلوك وسط الطلاب نما، يعني نفس بهذا الشكل الطالب لما ينمو في وسط متشاكس، يعني وسط غير منظم، وسط انقسامات، لما يجي في السلطة لما يدوه بوزيشن، نفس الحاجة اللي حصلت في الروابط هم بيجوا بيعملوا هنا برضو، سواء كان على مستوى الدولة أو على مستوى التنظيمات السياسية. فنحن عندنا مشكلة. فالمشكلة ده أنا برجعه من سلوكنا كنحن كجنوبيين. سلوكنا نحن الجنوبيين سلوك عنفي، سلوك لا يقبل الحوار، سلوك لا يقبل الرأي والرأي الآخر. عشان كده نحن محتاجين ناس بتاع علم النفس عشان يشوفوا المشكلة شنو. نحن المشكلة شنو؟ نحن الانقسامات دي ليه كيف فينا نحن الجنوبيين. وكان يعني أنا كان الروابط اللي كان موجود بالذات، لأنه كان روابط بتاع علي النيل هم من أكثر الروابط. لما كنت رئيس الطلبة الجنوبيين في 2008 وأكثر الطلاب هم من كانوا من علي النيل، فأنا كنت لصيق جدا بالروابط الموجودة في خرطوم. الشيء الثاني، الآن أنت لو مشيت جوبا يا جنكور بتلقى رابطة الطلاب أويل، اتحاد أويل الكبرى، رابطة الطلاب بور في جوبا، في مدينة جوبا، كويس. ما رابطة ليه؟ بس ان احنا في العاصمة الطلاب يجوا يعملوا روابط ولائية داخل في المدينة، ده برضو جزء من الانقسامات. فأنا برضو بقول للناس حكومة جنوب السودان هم لازم ينتبهوا للنقطة دي، لأنه ده الأساس الان نحن في الجامعه هنا في واشنطن محل هنا في الاتحاد. لما نجي الانتخابات بتاعت الاتحاد بيجي اللجنه محايده من القضاء.
نعم.
لجنه very important، لجنه محايده من القضاء خارج الكليه بيشرف على الانتخابات بكل مهنيه. لانه الطالب هنا لما يكون طالب ناجح لما يمشي في المستقبل لما يدور بوزيشن بيكون برضه انسان ناجح. لكن نحن عندنا مشكله اساسيه، مشكله في الاساس داير الناس بتاع انثروبولوجي.
الاسلوب ده يا عبد الله كرم، يعني انت في الختام بتقول الاسلوب ده موروثه لانه في حد ذاته.
ايوه السلوك ده موروث من ثقافتنا، من ثقافتنا نحن الجنوبيين. ثقافتنا ثقافه العنف، لا يقبل الراي والراي الاخر، لا يقبل الحوار. وطوالي ده مربوط بحب السلطه. ده برضه ده مشكله عندنا هنا، حب السلطه. يعني هسه انت لو مشيت في مصر بتلقى رابطه الطلاب، اتحاد الطلاب الجنوبيين، اتحاد طلاب البيطريين الجنوبيين، اتحاد طلاب الاطباء الجنوبيين، الطلاب المحامين الجنوبيين، ده كله حبا للسلطه، وده ما صحي. ده كله مشاكل يعني اذا ان احنا دايرين الحاجات دي يعني يتم يعني يعمل له تحديد. لانه طالب لما يكون يعني يشيل الموروثات دي بتاعت الديفكشن من هو في طالب في الجامعه لما يمشي برضه هيمارسه. لانه انا بعرف الكثير من طلاب الحركه الشعبيه زمان كانوا في الجامعات، الناس اللي كانوا بولينج والناس العشوائيين والناس اللي كانوا دائما بتاع مشاكل ماشي برضه. لما جنوب السودان طلع لما بقينا اندبندنت مارسوا نفس السلوك كانوا بيمارسوه في الجامعات، مشوا مارسوه على مستوى الاحزاب السياسيه في جنوب السودان. اذا ده السلوك اصبح ثقافي عندنا في جنوب السودان، ولازم انه نضع له حد بالدراسات. ده حاجه مهم جدا جدا. لو ان احنا ما عملنا له دراسات وما عملنا له اهميه حيكون اجيال عشوائيه، اجيال يعني كونفيوز يعني اجيال غير مركزه. ده مشكله كبيره عندنا في جنوب السودان. بالنسبه للاحزاب السياسيه، الانشقاقات في الاحزاب السياسيه لانه اصلا الانضمام للاحزاب السياسيه انضمام حش، ما بكون يعني عن طريق المبادئ او عن طريق الاهداف، ما بكون عن قناعات بتاعت الاهداف او المرتكزات الفكريه للتنظيم المعني، لكن دائما بيكون عن طريق القبيله او عن طريق جود بوي. انت بتعرفني وانا بعرفك، انا بقوم بجيبك انت تكون معي في الحزب. حتى مره ذاته في ناس كثير ما قاعدين يملوا استثمارات بتاع الحزب وبقوم بيتغلطوا مناصب كبيره في الحزب، لانه هم شنو؟ انضمامهم للحزب كان عن طريق افراد وليس عن طريق الاهداف. عشان كده من السهل جدا الحزب بيتفرتك. الحزب بيتفرتك. المؤسسات الجنوبيه مؤسسات حاشه جدا، مؤسسات حاشه تباع بالقروش، تباع باغراءات بتاعت القبيله، مؤسسات حشه جدا. مؤسساتنا كلها مؤسسات حشه. نديك مثال، مؤتمر الوطني منذ 89 حصل فيه انشقاق واحد كبير وخروج واحد كبير. في 2000 دكتور ترابي مجموعه العشره او مذكره العشره قسمت الحزب، ودي كانت اكبر يعني انشقاق في حزب المؤتمر الوطني. في 2013 تم فصل دكتور غازي صلاح الدين في احداث بتاعت 2013 ومشى كون حزب. دي الاثنين يعني من 89 لحد اليوم في اثنين ديفكشن حصل في المؤتمر الوطني. لكن لما تجي في احزابنا نحن في جنوب السودان حتى منظومه الحركه الشعبيه من 83 ده قتل ده وده قتل ده وده قتل ده، ده ذاته مشكله. لانه هيجي يوم من الايام تاريخ بتاعت الحركه الشعبيه ذاته حيكون جريمه. انت لو اتكلمت عن 1991 او 1983 او 2013 2016 حيكون جريمه.
او 2000
هيجي جيل
2004 ذات ما كير كان عمل ديفكشن
حيكون جريمه. يا كير ذاته عمل ديفكشن. دي الاحداث اللي قسمت جنوب السودان ليومنا هذا. فانا بقول الحاجه دي موروث ثقافي موجود في ثقافتنا ان احنا يا جنكور من الاساس. اذا نحن ما انتبهنا له هيكون في مشكله. النقطه الاخيره اللي داير اقوله في النقطه بتاعت انجلينا. Angelina, like you said, she's very intelligent, and I like her. لأنه هي الآن أنا شايف هي مركزة مع المجموعة الناس التنظيمين، الناس المنظمين، كويس؟ المجموعة بتاعت المهرجلين في الحركة الشعبية IO ديل دائما هم عندهم مشاكسين مع أنجلينا، لأنه ديل ما بيشتغلوا، دارين يلبسوا بدل الكرافتات، وواحد لما يرسلوا في حته يمشي يتكلم انا كنا زمان ونحن كنا زمان وانا قابلت فلان وانا قابلت فلان، ما بيمشي بيقعد في مكتب عشان يمشي يعمل اجنده، عشان يمشي يناقش يكتب مشروع يجي يناقشوه، بيمشي بيتكلم عن حاجات اللي احنا عملنا ونحن عملنا، والليل كله يقول لا في بيت فلان لبيت فلان لبيت فلان ومؤامرات، وفي النهايه تلقاه ينسلخ يعني. فالمنظوماتنا السياسيه او منظوماتنا السياسيه في جنوب السودان منظومات حاشه، لانه الاهداف غير واضحه واهداف ذاته ما اساسيه، عشان كده دائما بتلقى فيه انقسامات. فانا بشكرك يا استاذ جونكو، انت جبت الموضوع ده للراي العام، وانا برسل رساله لحكومه جنوب السودان انه هم يعملوا يدوا اهميه للموضوع، لانه الموضوع ده حيستمر. الروابط الكثير والجمعيات الكثيره كلها يعني مبنيه على السلطه واقليميه بدون فائده، حقه يعملوا حد يكون بس في جوبا رابطه اهل النيل الكبرى ورابطه طلاب بحر غزال الكبرى، ما دايرين ناس باليه يعملوا رابطه والناس اويل يعملوا رابطه وناس بني يعملوا رابطه. شكرا كثير استاذ جنكور.
شكرا اشكرك كل الشكر اخي عبد الله قرن لمداخلتك، كلام مهم جدا جدا، very articulate. ثانك يو، انا بشكرك.
ثانك يو.
Alright يا جماعه، I know that I have so many people here. نستمر ونشوف الريكوست.
نعيش جنة مفرجة، أنا ما رأيت غيرك محنة مؤكدة، غيرك محنة مؤكدة، ما هويت أنا غير عيونك أنت ده، ما هويت أنا غير عيونك أنت ده، يا هوا خليني جنب هذا الحبيب اللي يفارق.
Mark, I'm calling you. Mark.
بختار تغير ويكون سميع دايما معاي، دايما سوا نكون سوا يا دنيا بالرضا الغرام.
Mark, I'm calling you. Lakini look like network attack is not accepting. Let's see what's gonna happen at the end.
يا عزوز شوف
Mark, Zahir, it's not working for you. Okay.
لا في دموع العيون بتبكي مسهلة، يا عزوز شوف الغرام
Kwalgarang, I'm calling you. I assume that's Nouri. Kwalgarang al-Maruf Ben Nouri. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, sir. How are you?
I'm well, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, you read the topic. I want to get your perspective from both.
I think the topic is very fascinating. The topic is as hit it on the nail. What is it? What is it that Angelina Teny has been so influential on the part of the IO? Well, my assessment.
That second one. The culture of defection. What is the impact of culture of defection in South Sudanese politics? And we have been seeing defection since 1983, 81, 2004, with the major defection by, Salva Kiir Mayar against Dr. Jongkor. It was resolved, though, quickly. But we have culture of defection. What is the impact? It's Angelina, co-chair of SPLM IO, because people are complaining about her. I know she's very intelligent, she's a very smart woman. I met her in person, and she answered my questions. So I want to get your perspective from both, sir.
Well, the culture of moving between parties and moving to one camp from one camp, I think it has been normalized. It has been normalized to the point that people do not see it as a problem anymore. That people do see it as a way to actually increase your value, to increase your prestige, to increase your class, or to bump up your class. All right, it's sort of, if you go out out in the door or outside there, you would be doing what we call window shopping, right? And when you do window shopping, sometimes certain things they would capture your imagination, and if you get a good deal, you may be actually tempted to get into that store and buy something for whatever you need it for. Now, the problem with that is because too many people they will be doing this, and when too many people are doing this, the idea that you would be uh, focusing on the real issues, the need of the country, the right of the people, the accountability, and the stability that people need within the country would not be there because you would be driven by purely personal interest. All right. And what is it? What is causing it? Well, it is happening because that's the only way. That's the only way you can actually begin to be be a politician, two, be a general, all right, and two, maybe get power and get money and get class, all right. So it has become a very lucrative business, all right. It has become a very useful way for many people to actually, rise to the ranks of military, the rank of politicians. Now, who is victim in this? When you ask, so then what is the problem? Who is victim in this? Well, is a guy who is not defecting, or a guy or a student who is not defecting, or a kid who is not getting need being provided by those people that they believe they should be given, that they should look after them, because there are people who will not manage to defect, all right, because they have no guns, all right, because they have no connection, all right, because they just do not, they can't do it. So the victim would be ordinary citizen. They could be women, they could be children, they could be people who are disabled within the country, all right? So how do you stop it? Well, you do stop it if someone is going to think about the welfare of the country, all right? But to me, the issue now, it has become a personal interest. And a personal interest is always outside the norm of the nation building. And I think in my judgment, there has to be more public awareness about it. What is it that people are continuously doing, this defection? And it has become a very fascinating thing because people love it.
It's so
they
irritating.
Love it.
It's so irritating and it's so annoying. I'm not
Yes.
talking about the major defection. I know that there is major defection since formation of SPLA 93, but the defection now, it become even within the smaller community. Yeah, like Abdullah Garam put it clear. Student of the university, community, basis, and non-profit organization. Like 90% of South Sudanese, they are defect all the time. They move from here to here. But what they are gaining, what they are gaining from this, I don't see anything coming good, positive out of it. They're still continuing. And then why? Go ahead.
Well, I would disagree with you on that because there were people who never made it to the high rank when they did not defect. But by the time they actually defected, they were able to be given this huge rank. And rank is usually money, rank is usually class, rank is usually prestige, and rank is usually how you can actually find your way from that military rank to being a politician. All right. So, and usually when you go there, the more rank they give you, the more income you might be able to receive. All right, depending wherever they get that that income or resources. Right. So, if you go to Juba now, there are only 2 people in town. All right, or if you go to in any military opposition camp now, there are only 2 people. There would be people who are wearing purple civilian clothes, all right, and there would be people who would be wearing purple military uniform, all right. These would be the people, the former general, who would be retiring to actually take a civilian clothing, all right, for the sake of language, and there would be people who would be wearing these very high military satire, and
you see, Grand Kwal, you made a very good point. But the question here, actually, I keep asking, and brother Jay Maror Agwar asked that question. And he said, the question is about why, in the first place, people are defecting from the government to IO to any other political organization, because the government was a dictatorial, hypocritical. They are not delivering. And then all of a sudden, you are defecting from the organization that you went to and you believe in will achieve the objective, will bring the reform. You are defecting from there. Not only that, you defected to IO, and then from IO, you defected from IO to another organization, and then from another organization, you defected. What are you looking for? That's the problem here. That's the question. That's where I'm stuck, you know, wondering if you are going because you need a reform, why don't you stick with the IO until, you know, you achieve the goals and the objective of that organization? Why you move from IO to somewhere? And then why you move from somewhere there also, whether NAS or any other political, you move again back to the government. And we have seen this all over and over and over again. You know, let's wrap it up so we can move to the issue of Angelina.
People are not defecting because they want to fix something. People are defecting because they want to serve their interests, self-serving, right? They're doing chopping. They're seeking opportunities, all right? They're not seeking to build a country. They're defecting because if they're not finding it, whatever they're looking for in one camp, they will move from one camp to the other in order to search for green patches and that are about personal interest. So the history of defection has been a very lucrative history for some people.
Let me respond to brother Akol. That's not true, my brother. President Kiir actually defected against Dr. John. Lani actually, he accused him very, you know, he said Dr. John actually is dictatorial. Galkan was dictatorial. And I remember he said that Dr. John he put it in the, you know, on the bag, you know, and luggage and leave with it. So he accused Dr. John with that, and he defected. And what happened in Rumbek was not just to restructure the SPLM party. No, it was to reconcile, to bring him back, because he was more than willing to fight Dr. John Garang. That's why actually him and Paul Malone that time, Paul Malone actually, he was in his side. And that's why you see reason back, Paul Malone actually have very good ally with President Kiir. We know exactly what happened. It's not the topic of the matter of today, you know, the issue between Dr. John Garang and Kiir Mayar, but falling into defection. Kiir defected, and we know it, you know. So go ahead.
Okay. So I think the why question is known now. All right, they go there, they defect because they wanted opportunities that are about personal interest, self-serving. All right, and we have so many evidence of that, because see 1990s, 1980s, ever since they struggle for South Sudanese is concerned. Many people they've had defected in order to actually fulfill their own personal interests. So we know that. Now, how do you stop it? And what is the consequence of it? Well, the consequence of this is because the nation would be a nation in which defection and culture of defection is becoming a norm and is becoming a normal thing. All right. When it becomes a normal thing, you will no longer have somebody with credibility to actually focus on the idea of the nation building, to focus on the idea of a good governance. All right. Because when you are not finding your way in that camp that you defected to or you are in, you would be changing the poles. All right. You move the post from one camp to the other so that you can find your way up there. All right, because our society is run by two classes: military class and political class. How do you find yourself in one of these two classes? Well, you have to do defection. You have to do defection, because when you do defection, you become a necessity. You become a liability, and you will begin to threaten the very camp that you left before. It say, if you don't give me what I want, I will threaten you. So you will be accommodated, and you will get so many amnesties. All right, you will get so many clemencies, and clemency, they usually come with a reward by giving you a position. All right, so that you can become a very prominent person within the political class or within the military class. So there is incentive for it. There is a stimulus for it, and they know this. And when you talk to them, people who defected 10 times, they love it. They have fun with it. All right. You wonder what kind of thing they would be talking when you are not physically present. Then they would say, I did it. I did it to myself. I did it to my family. I did it to my friend. And usually they lie. They usually lie to these leaders that they defected to. They say, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to make you make you a leader. I'm going to bring followers. I'm going to bring civilian. I'm going to bring support to you. But you have to give me something that I'm looking for. So what am I doing now? I need to go to Nairobi. But because I need to go to Nairobi, I defected to you now. I need some allowances. I need some incentive, and then they will, spend this amount of money in these places which are not even, nobody is going to actually know how much they're spending that. So there is incentive for it, and it is a very lucrative incentive. The victim is a child who is looking for opportunities in the Republic of South Sudan.
Will you call them they are psychopaths?
Well, I don't think I would. I don't think I would disagree with you on that. But they are leading us. They are leading us. All right. I don't know whether psychopaths can lead. I don't. They are leading us. All right. They're leading the country. They're leading opposition. They're leading the country, and they're leading South Sudanese. So it's up to South Sudanese to say whether or not they could be led by those people that we have characterized by as such. Usually, those people, they should be in mental health institution. All right, they should not be leading people, and but apparently they're leading people.
All right,
leading.
Let's move on. Nuri Kwalgaran. Let's move on to the issue of Angelina. As you see there on the topic, is Angelina co-chair of Dr. Riek Machar on the IO? Because over and over again, many people have been complaining about her. Many people, they call her, she's a bully, she's a manipulator, she's wicked, she's doing a lot of things behind the scene. She has to have an approval in order for those who want to raise up, who want to go beyond to get a window. And I know the woman. I met a woman one time, and I already, a little earlier you hear me when I asked a question. I met her in Salt Lake City in the United States, and Dr. Riek Machar didn't want to answer my question because, by the way, Dr. Riek Machar, when he talks, is very quiet. He's not an energetic guy when he's giving his speech. It's exactly like Salva Kiir, when he goes, so, like that. The same style, the same modern, that's what Dr. Machar has. Because it can be boring. But this woman, she's not. She's just like, very active. And then she will answer your question A and B and C right away. Okay, now people are saying that she's the reason people are leaving IO. She's doing things behind the scene. What's your intake on this, Nuri Kwalgaran?
Well, she's a kingmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And but you do not have to go far away to figure out why she's doing what she's doing. First of all, there are two things at stake. Her political life is at stake, so she has to be alert all the time. Secondly, the political movement or the military movement, which is the SPLM in opposition, is intimately tied to her husband. So the security of the SPLM-IO and the security of her husband, and her own security, they're tied together. All right, they're really tied together. There is no way she can be able to separate them. So she is acting like a surveillance, surveillancing system within the system of the SPLM-IO. All right. So, and the file that they gave her is the file that is going to make her to make key decision progress. I understand that she's responsible for security arrangement, for security file. All right.
I'm not talking about security arrangement file, Kwalgaran. I'm talking about people now are moving, are leaving, and you remember, not too long ago, Johannes Musa. Now he resigned from SPLM-IO. He has been there. He has been defending SPLM-IO quite a long. The social media, on the cable network. But yet he resigned and he said, Angelina, she's the reason. And many, many more. And actually there are people, talk to us in private. I don't belong to any party, you know, I don't belong to any whatever, you know, people call it. I am an independent. But people talk to me. Even inside J1, I talk to people, you know. But they are saying now, those IO, they are saying Angelina, she's very influential, but she's the reason people are leaving. Adwok Nyaba left, and many more left. Taban left, that guy left, you know, Diamotok left.
Let me. What would be the reason people would be leaving? One key thing, if there is one key thing, is because when you find yourself, you're no longer safe. When you find yourself that you're no longer safe, you know, around that leader, you would be leaving. Your life would be, you would imagine that your life would be endangered. So you would be leaving. All right. So now these defections, they usually do not happen with before signal. They usually signal, all right, that you would usually see. It would be information that leak out that Mr. So-and-so is no longer friendly, is no longer serving our interests. And that discussion would usually take place when you are being marginalized, you're not being called to the meeting, you're not being contacted, all right? And when you start to see these signals, these new behavior, you will start to feel, okay, you no longer want it anymore. And usually, why would someone
do you
be leaving you out?
Do you think she's behind all this thing happening, all this defection happening in the SPLM-IO?
Well, if people are leaving, it's very hard to answer unless if there is an internal information that you have, all right? Because they usually don't put out information for the public to know.
So you don't.
So it's very hard to know what kind of memo has been written against who and against who and against who. But my sense that is that people may not be feeling safe, or people may not be worthy anymore as far as the SPLM I1 concerned. Another thing too here is there is already a pre-arrangements of the government that would be formed. So if you don't hear your name, all right, if you don't hear your name, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything, all right, your name is not coming up, you're not being called for the meeting, you're not being invited.
Thank you, Kwalgaran. The last point, we're done with that. We're done with the culture of defection. We're done with Angelina Teny. Now people raise the question. President Kiir was not received properly when he arrived to Arab Republic of Egypt. I want to get your perspective. The respect, you earn it. You don't demand for it. What do you make of this?
Okay, so can you when you say President Kiir was not received properly, what do they mean?
So people, no, I mean, you know, many South Sudanese citizens, they have been saying that it was not received properly. It's supposed to be received by the head of the state at the Cairo International Airport, but it was received by Minister of Water and Irrigation at the airport. And some people are complaining why the head of the state, our president, was not received by the head of the state of Egypt. And they said why, and I keep saying that, you know, respect, you earn it, you don't demand it. That's one thing. If you don't respect your citizen, you fall on the, you know, on the eye of international community. Why should the head of a state like Egypt, you know, do so?
Okay.
So
what is the interest? What is the interest of Egypt in South Sudan? Water.
Water, yes. But does that mean that if the interest of the Egypt is water, does that mean they have to send a minister of water and irrigation to go and receive a president from the airport?
Because countries, they're driven by interest.
Okay. Go ahead and finish so we can just go ahead.
I'm done. I'm done.
So, you don't have comment on that. Thank you so much, Nuri, for coming on.
Thank you.
And adding your perspective.
Thank you, Baba. Yeah, thank you, Baba.
Yeah, Nuri doesn't want to make anything. Emmanuel Ajawin, I hope you send in a request and I can bring you in. Oh, actually, I have Sabata ahead of you. Let me go ahead and bring Sabata, and then I'll bring you. Sabata, I'm calling you, and I hope you are in a good place. That network will go ahead. Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, sir.
Thank you very much, Brother Jongkor. I would like to thank you very much, and I also want to thank all the viewers who have come to the line. This is a very interesting topic that you've brought.
Yes.
And here is my contribution to it.
No.
First of all, you spoke about the culture of defection, right? Now, I think defection has always happened. Are you hearing me?
I am hearing you very well. I just was looking for somebody said here the Prime Minister of Sudan is a brother to Jongkor. How come that guy can be brother to me? Go ahead.
Okay. You see, Jongkor, pretty much our composition right now in South Sudan, politically, doesn't seem to be satisfying at all. Many people are not satisfied. That is why defection happens. And I would say the root causes of those defections are there is a cultural aspect, and there is also an aspect of the system that we are politically kind of building.
Yes.
You see, when I say lack of satisfaction by people, people are categorized into categories. There are people who are really trying to serve their personal interests. Those ones can be categorized in a different angle. There are those who are really reformers. They want to reform the situation. Those ones can be categorized at a different also category. But then they all find themselves, sometimes they go to an organization, and when they are inside that organization, they don't get what they want. Whether you are a reformist, or whether you are even somebody who is seeking you are a self-serving person. Okay.
Self-interest.
And yes, this lack of satisfying is affecting. Why? And I said also there is a cultural aspect of it. We are now. This is how I see. This is my personal view. Jongkor, from the time we are open to education, the Western system of education,
yes,
I am realizing that we are now struggling between egalitarianism and those traditional concepts that we have long time ago, where we believe, when you are a father or a mother knows everything, and when you choose your leaders decide on agendas and everything, and everybody just listen, everybody align themselves behind their leader, and the leader leads you to the promised land where you guys want. There is a rivaling ideology going on in South Sudan. And of course, the egalitarianism, pretty much, those who are egalitarians, this is relating to the principle that makes us believe that we are all equal, and we deserve equal rights.
Yes.
We deserve equal chances, you see. And this is now embedded in the people of South Sudan. It is growing. And I would say this is pretty much a progressive way of thinking. Yani, when I look at you, sometimes when I hear what you speak, what you say, you sound very different from another South Sudanese also, who would sit there and just don't worry about his rights or her rights, but say, you know what, Arreis Bitanade, we should give him chance. He knows everything, whatever he decides, So there is an aspect of educational kind of conflict that is making us kind of think differently, even if sometimes we are in the same organization. Okay. Now, there is also a culture of lack of tolerance. Again, this is also embedded in us. I don't know if you have noticed amongst us, we don't tolerate people who are controversial in ideas. A person who disagrees with you, you tend to look at that person as though that person into gossip man, as though that person is yes, as though that person is an enemy. And these small things that I have counted is also baked in our societies, okay? And it makes its way to how we behave even inside government. You see, right now you find the way we have established our government, we have established the government such that there are a bunch of people who think Salva Kiir is the Rais. Whatever he does, the SPLM are the ruling party. They're always right. And you have also those people who say, no, 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 no. That's not right. We all have equal chances. We have our parliamentarians here. Our voices should be heard. You know, we are having this conflicting ideology going on in our political community. And we are also having those people who are very tolerant, saying it's okay, let us have multi-partisan, even if some other people have different ideas, let us sit down and listen. And there are those who are saying, no, 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 no. You know, if you are against SPLM, you are an enemy. You see, so we are having all those kind of mixed up people who are, of course, this comes from the fact that we are educated in different backgrounds. We grew up in different atmospheres, you see, and it makes us less uniform. And when we are less uniform, culturally, you find all these conflicts coming up and all these fights coming up. That is why, I don't know, Jongkor, if you have realized, very slowly, if you look at the problems that we have in South Sudan at that national level, and then you sit down and let us discuss with you how we have seen how associations, even here in the United States of America, we have been in community before together with all of you guys. When you see how people have always disagreed, even at a community level, it reminds you of the national level, because we will always come together and form bylaws, and then we'll put our principles, but hardly we go and listen to ourselves and follow those principles. We tend to go with our conscience most of the time. People don't tolerate each other when people disagree with each other. Sometimes people don't have uniform way of seeing things. It becomes problematic, and it makes people kind of run back and forth. You run to that organization, you don't find what you want, you are not satisfied there, you run to the other one, you find yourself not satisfied on the other one, you come back here. So everywhere you are just not satisfied. It brings more of a state of confusion. This I will leave it for why we have a culture of defection from one side to another. Now,
so you
talking about
it mean that you and Abdullah Garang actually nailed this thing down. You agree, because this thing is embedded in our culture, and you stated clearly, you know, within our community's formation. I don't want a Sudanese community for innocent. We wanted to do Sudanese community in Salt Lake City, but someone will come, oh no man, I want to form my own Kakwa. So we will give Kakwa more, you know, importance than, you know, having South Sudanese community, or even having Equatorial, or even having, you know, Upper Nile community. It's a disease. So yeah, go ahead and finish with Angelina. She's really a co-chair of that of IO, and why people are thinking that she's manipulative, she's wicked, and she's doing all this thing, because everyone that leaving SPLM IO, they make a statement about Angelina Teny. Go ahead.
I see. Well, pretty much, I'm sure Angelina Teny, as you have already stated, you know, she's a very intelligent lady. And all this time, Angelina has not brought out her influence in that organization. But following the times when Angelina's husband has been detained for quite a long time in South Africa, and of course also, yes, she stepped up and she started taking responsibilities. And I don't know if you've noticed very carefully that even from the time, just from the time Dr. Riek has been put in South Africa, this guy has changed a lot. Even his attitude, he seemed to have just gone all the way. He has just gone cold one time down completely. You see, and maybe at that point, Angelina just felt like, you know what, I have to step up, or else that might not be good for the organization of the SPLM IO. So, and she popped up, and she, of course, Angelina is Angelina, even though she's Dr. Riek Machar, but she works also with her own mind. And for that reason, she injects her way of thinking into the administration, how he wants the organization to move on. And what is just very something that I don't know what is happening inside there is, you know, it is an organization. The organization is instituted. You know, SPLM IO, by the way, it has a manifesto, it has a code of conduct, it has its constitution, it has all those things. Now, do they follow those things strictly? I don't know. I also know that SPLM-IO has a body that's called the political bureau. They sit down together and make crucial decisions. Are they utilizing that body to sit down and make those crucial decisions? I don't know. But if she ends up making most of the decisions herself and not bringing the IO political bureau, then yes, she will eventually frustrate some of those participants who are in the political organization of the SPLM-IO, especially on big issues, on decisions like, for example, the decisions that has actually made them to go ahead and sign the
Khartoum peace agreement.
The peace deal. Yeah, the revitalized peace deal. Those are very huge decisions that really needs consultation of the members of the political bureau, their council. But the question is, have they actually consulted the council, or Dr. Riek Machar was just called in Khartoum to go and meet with Kir in a face-to-face meeting, and all of a sudden he just made a decision from there and signed the deal, or maybe contacted Angelina and maybe two other more, and the rest of the guys who are in the SPLM political bureau and the council just heard about it and took them by surprise. That will actually make them to conclude that, oh my goodness, this thing seems to be taking a toll of more of either a family or a community organization, where such crucial decisions are only made by some few or elites within the organization itself. For this is pretty much what I would say. Maybe Angelina does not follow the constitution or manifesto very well. That's what's making most of those who are critical thinkers or critical as far as how organizations are supposed to work seems to be now pulling out and saying, you know what, this thing is taking a toll that is not even good. And then as far as the reception of the president in Egypt, for those who have criticized the reception of the president, I would say to a certain degree, yes, they have the right to criticize, because the reception of of Kir, you know, Kir is a president, he's a head of state, and when he goes to Egypt, Egyptians should also receive him as a guest of the state. You know, he steps in Egypt as a guest of Egypt government. Okay, so usually that will mean that it should be the head of the Egyptian state to come and receive him, even though his intention is actually to go and meet with on an issue to do with water or something else. Then they will finalize this thing at that top level. You know, if I'm going to your house, Jongkor, I will expect you to come and receive me at the sitting room. I don't expect you to send that small kid that you have at home there to come and receive me. Otherwise, I'll say Jongkor has not taken me seriously, right?
Well, that's why I like your analogy, man. You put it clear. You articulate all the points, and you came to the point that president was received, you know, by Minister of Water and Irrigation in Egypt. Of course, that's why I make a point a little earlier. I don't disagree. President Kiir is supposed to be received on the level of, you know, of the head of the state. But sometimes, this is what I said, you earn the respect, you don't demand for it.
Yes.
And then if you're showing that you are careless and you are not, you know, to that level, people always, you know, will undermine you. They will think, oh, it's nothing. Because actually, you went to that, you know, level. You have shown to that level. You don't care. You feel like it's okay. Even though I have been saying this for quite a long. A lot of people are not paying attention to this. President keep renting a airplane. He keep renting from Kenyan Airways. He keep renting from Ethiopian Airways. He keep renting from Rwanda and Uganda. He haven't run from Uganda. Uganda Airways. Now he landed in Cairo International Airport with Ugandan airplane. Imagine you representing the country that called the Republic of South Sudan. It's not about money. You have the money. What people are going to say, oh, Rwanda Air, the president of South Sudan is the one that's coming with that plane. What does that mean? You don't care the symbol of your country. You know, you don't care. And that's why actually people don't care. That's why other head of state don't care. Because you don't respect your people, you kill them, you jail them, and you don't even care about the country that you are representing. You don't want to represent it in a professional way. What is the point now? You are renting Uganda Air. So I don't feel bad. Yes, you're right. It's supposed to be received by the head of state. But President Kiir have got himself to that level, actually. That people don't care about him anymore. You know, it's okay. That's how they do things. And that's what happened exactly.
Yes,
You know. So thank you.
Maybe the head of state of Egypt at that time was sleeping and he just heard it's scary. Say, yeah, he doesn't take him serious.
Yeah, you're right. Even though the visit was to reassure Egyptian, you know, for the water thing, it still need to be received by the head of state. You know, even Reis Tawazara, you know, it still need to be received. Look, in Israel, the president, because there is a prime minister in Israel and then the president. The prime minister actually has something to do with the government and all these things. And the president is a ceremonial. Like in Hindu, he's the one that will receive the head of the state and Jain Mimbara. That's his job. You know?
Correct.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Sabata. Last word, and then I'll let you go and bring other person as well.
All right. I thank you very much, Jongkor, for giving me the chance. And also, I just want to thank all those who have spent their time to listen. And God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and bring other people here who are waiting, you know, to weigh in as well. Okay. Yep. Let me see here. Makir. So, actually, Taban James was saying that, Jongkor, you should not discuss this issue without bringing someone from an SPLM IO insider. Yes, I think maybe you just joined us, you know, lately. But actually, I said this from the beginning. Taban James have been calling SPLM IO spokesperson, you know, people who are inside. But they refuse. Since they signed that peace agreement in Khartoum, they don't want to talk anymore. They don't want to. I keep calling them. I talk in WhatsApp. Do you know how many times that, you know, I chat with Angelina Teny? Many times. On WhatsApp, she said she's busy. For the last 7 months. 7 months, she said she's busy. Do you think she's busy for the last 7 months? It's just simply doesn't want to come. She doesn't want to come. That's the conclusion that I got. You know. And what about, you know, 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, I talked to Manawa. I talked to him. But he said, you know what, we're going to go to Juba. After we go to Juba, oh, we will do live there. So we can speak to the people of South Sudan. Because if you sign a deal, you got to let people know what are you doing. You have to let people engage. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't hurt anything. But they don't want to. And actually, that will make a question mark when you refuse to speak to the people. Okay? We here, are the people of South Sudan, we don't hold any position. We just want the message to go. But when you refuse to speak to us, and when you refuse, you know, people to know what you're doing, that put big question mark. So my brother, you know, I always extend the invitation to those in government, to those in wherever, you know. Anyone want to come here and challenge me, they are more than welcome. Always, I said, come. We agree to disagree. No problem. But you need to come. But you know what? They undermine what we do. They think we are just making noise, but we are not. Actually, we are speaking to the issues. Very, very important, the issues. People will go around, but at the end of the day, they will come to this. Right? So thank you. So let me go ahead and see who else. Then I'll bring you in. Yes. Makir, Mabil. Makir, I'm going to bring you. Makir, I'm calling you right now. Go ahead and answer, Makir. I'm bringing you, Makir. You're right, they all don't want to talk, my brother. They all don't want to talk. Makir, I'm calling you. If you have an issue with the network, I can move ahead and call other person here. Yes, Emmanuel Ajawin and Abijibak. Because it looked like Makir have a problem too. Okay. Actually, Makir had a problem in connection. Emmanuel, go ahead and resend it, please, because it disappeared. Emmanuel Ajawin. Yeah, the camera is off. Emmanuel Ajawin, it look like. Your camera is off. Emmanuel Ajawin, camera is off. Just exit and come back. Makira na hawalta lakin ma gadin fi through ya. And I'm there bitada, you know, to drop us out. Lanu, if we start doing this with you, and then if I keep calling you, and then it's gonna, you know, disrupt the broadcast actually. So I advise you, just exit and then come back. Shanikun safe. Lana sa, ana lugada tasebeka wali. Will network with Markways, and then that is gonna crash the broadcast actually. But we don't want to do that. It's not good. So exit, and when you come back, write something. Okay, Red Moich. I'm gonna call Red. I think it should work for Red. Honorable Red Moich, welcome to Southern citizen of South Sudan.
Thank you very much, Jongkor. Thank you.
Good.
Well,
so, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Jongkor. I just want to say a few things before other people come. Actually, I have somewhere to go. No first of all, I think you get my message. I did send you a message because I was thinking that it is actually good to talk about all these issues, but be ethical sometimes. You know, you need to talk to the person that is being accused, because you have information that you say people have been talking to you about Comrade Angelina, and they have been telling you about all the things that are going on in the SPLM. So I would think that it's good to discuss such kind of issues, but it would be good if you should have called Angelina directly to be your guest, or maybe somebody from the SPLM, because this question you cannot throw it into the public, because the public doesn't know what is going on in the SPLM. So that was the reason of my message. I thought these are good things, we should discuss them, but in a sense that, you know, you need to get the right information to the person concerned, because if you don't do that, it will seem like you are just making a propaganda against somebody. She will not be there to defend herself, and the person who will be talking will not know much about what is going on in the SPLM.
Well, Red, to let you continue, you're absolutely right. In order to, you know, to accuse somebody or to make allegations, you know, you have to get the person, you know, on the side. But if you follow, you know, the show from the beginning, it's been 7 months since I contacted, you know, Angelina Teny. 7 months. I've been contacting her, chatting with the, you know, what they call WhatsApp and so forth. But she has been promising that she will come to our show, and she never showed up. And we have been sending messages. And actually, last night I sent a message too, and I said, "Oh, tomorrow actually I have a question regarding you. We're gonna go ahead anyway and discuss this issue. And Angelina now, she's second to our topic because we are talking about the culture of defection. You know, what is the impact of culture of defection in South Sudan politics? And we have seen that, you know, happening over and over again. And I must throw in the question regarding Angelina. So Angelina, actually, the notion that you said that we should not, I'm not making propaganda. I am here, you know, speaking in the public because any issue that matters to our people, we should talk about it. But she's the one that refused, and all the IO people. I'm telling you this, my brother. I keep sending her, you know, messages. They don't want to. IO and the government, actually, they don't want to. They don't want to appear. They don't want to appear whatsoever, you know. Last 3 weeks, I talked to Manawa. I looked for him, and Manawa actually, because I knew that Mayol is sick, okay, for somehow. But I contacted Manawa, and Manawa actually promised me that he will come to our show. And Tuesday, he said, okay, I'll call you on Tuesday. It's fine, you know, we got to do this because people can get the message. But all of a sudden, you know, he's not answering the phone anymore. So he didn't even come and tell me, Jongkor, you know, I will not be able to make it. You know, he did not do. So that will not, it should not keep our hand tight. We cannot talk about it. في منظومة سياسية IO ولا في الحكومة ولا في any other political organization. If they don't want to come, I am a concerned citizen. We can talk about this issue, and there is a lot of concerned people as well. So thank you.
I do agree with you, and just I'm worried for credibility of, because you are trying to create something that could be good for public, and you're also trying to build the credibility of that media that you're using, in which I respect. I think contacting somebody like Mabur, because this has something to do with organization. I don't have any objection of us talking of this kind of issue. I really supported it and I like it, and this will help us in the way forward. And even though people have refused, in which I know somebody like Manawa, there are also people, if Manawa don't want to come because maybe you think you should also tell them to suggest to you somebody who can talk, because I can see these young people who are trying to weigh in. They are members of the SPLM, but I don't think they are in the position, because there are some of the things they do not even know, because the level of the leadership is different. We have National Liberation Council, we have political groups, and all this kind of thing. Anyway, this is not an issue. I support that we talk about this kind of thing. There is no problem about it. So coming to your topic, you know, the culture of defection, yes. The culture of defection is something very worried to me personally, and I believe to everybody in South Sudan. And there are different things involved into this kind of culture of defection. First of all, the government of South Sudan have to be blamed, because it is what people are seeing in the government that make people rebel. Because the government actually, some you know, it's not all the rebellion or people who are rebelling are bad, or maybe they don't have a good reason, a genuine reason to rebel. We should not condemn everybody who is rebelling that they need position. Of course, there are people in that kind of thing, but it is what people have seen from the government, because people have seen government.
Going back to the rebellion or defection, actually it become like a culture. Going back to 80s, you know, Gaitur, even Dr. Jongkor, and 1991, and coming forward, defection, you know, you cannot imagine how many people defected. How many people defected with the SPLM, within SPLM going, it has no color, it has no tribe, so many. Even President Kiir himself, he defected. And I said this a little earlier. And people say, no, but he did actually.
I agree with you. The reason, when I take it to this recent government that we have, the government of South Sudan, the government actually have shown that they are not willing to listen to it, because I was part of the government. I knew many things that have gone. There were people who were trying to negotiate with the government, to negotiate their grievances, to talk to the leadership. They were not listening. And what they have seen is that somebody have rebelled and fight and come back with huge rank from new civilian who they have recruited, and now the government is willing to take in this kind of thing. That one by itself encourages people to do the same, because they have seen the government is not willing to negotiate with people, or maybe to talk with people. They only listen to somebody who have rebel and want to fight the government. And when these people come back, you know, the other people who are still in the government who have some grievances that need to be addressed, they will see the person that the government, you know, respect more and consider more is somebody who have rebelled and came back with, you know, a huge number of people, and they will be considered. This is the reason why the culture that we build in South Sudan, you know, only, you know, allow those kind of things to happen, for you to go ahead and fight and then come back and be considered and all this kind of thing. Because if there have to be a different culture that have been established by the government, a culture of addressing grievances within the government, like some of us or some of the people have been trying to do, like the issue of 2013. I knew somebody like Dr. Riek didn't want to rebel, and he was trying to challenge Salva in the election. But in the process, things didn't go right, and people went to fighting. So the culture of defection is really a big issue. And now guess what? The military institution is such an institution whereby there is a need for discipline, there is need for, you know, what you call experience and knowledge of the military institution. It's not something that somebody should be given rank today because he went to the bush and then he become major general without going through the ladder of the leadership of the army. To become a private, to be trained, to know the discipline of the army. You know, the most disciplined institution in the world is a military institution.
Yes.
But we are not doing that in South Sudan. Because now, guess where we have reached right now? The rank are needed because of Kashumbuyut, Maslan. Yeah, and if clan X is not given, they don't have general, they will say we don't have general, they need general. And this is where we have reached. And you will ask yourself why we are doing things like this, because we have people who have been in the SPLA, they got their rank through participation within the SPLA, they got their rank through training that they have done, maybe those who were sent to foreign country to get training. In the SPLA, you don't just get rank. But now the army that we have now, I have to be honest with you, whether inside the government and outside the government, the army that we have now, we have people with huge rank, they don't even, institution bita army. Okay. So like somebody say that now people are looking for money and position, because the more you have high rank, the more you will get high pay. Okay. And the more you have high rank, the more you will get respect and you get the control. People are looking for power here. And we don't know that this is very dangerous, because when you have undisciplined, untrained military general, you have endangered the life of the people, because they will mismanage that power, you know, to abuse other people, to abuse people with it, and because they don't know what does it mean to be an armed forces. So I think this is the issue. And also the other issue, especially for young people who are moving, I've been saying this a couple of times. Those who are moving from Camp 1 to Camp 2 to Camp 3, okay, they are not just moving for change, and they are not helping us. And most of the time, Jongkor, now our movement, generally, we have a clear line now. We know that this movement act is dominated by certain tribe, and this movement white is dominated by certain tribe, the government is dominated by certain tribe. And those who are moving in between, they are not nationalists. They are not the people who can help our coexist together, to make us coexist together, sorry. So, and in that saying, it means that people who are moving, when you see that you are not making it here, you need to go to Camp B so that maybe you can get an easy way. And when you come back to Camp A, and then you will be considered, you see? So that there is a lot of, you know, interest involved here, which I would agree with the people who say that the defection is not about how we can solve the problem of South Sudan. The defection is actually people try to come up in an easy way, very quickly, get the rank, get high position, and then get the control and become part of the government. So defection become an issue, and it has to be addressed. I don't support it, and I don't even support giving rank to people who are not, because it's very dangerous to our country. And coming to issue of Madam Angelina, you know, any institution they have their own issue.
Yes.
these young people who have been talking, I know somebody like Ioannis. Ioannis is a friend of mine. I've been with Ioannis for the, you know, we have been together in South Sudan. But after the country went to war, me and Ioannis plus all the comrades, those of my biogram, we were in Addis Ababa. We were the first people who were negotiating the peace until we signed the cessation of hostility on the 23rd of February 2000, January 2014. Okay, there are people. That's why I said, you know, sometimes you need to bring somebody who know what somebody has done, because they were trying to say, you know, Ioannis have not been a member of the SPLM, IO, and all this kind of thing. This is because they don't know. Some of them are just a student. They just joined the SPLM IO yesterday. Ioannis has been a member and has been a very committed member. I know there are some people who may come with their own different interests, but Ioannis was not one of them. Okay, but they have issue already. You know, because from former unity state, Ioannis and Madame Angelina, they were together and they have their own issue, political and all this kind of thing. This issue, they were there, okay? And for Ioannis to leave today, you would not say that it is because I don't want Ioannis to leave the SPLM-IO. I don't say that he may not have reason, even though I don't agree with him leaving. But the fact that somebody saying that Ioannis is just there because he talk about the chairman and all this kind of thing, when he talk about the chairman in the SPLM meeting, this is good, you know, because you don't want somebody to come publicly with something that you can discuss privately. We never seen him talking publicly about the chairman. I never had him talking negatively, for example. So to me, I would say that Ioannis may have a reason to leave, but he was a committed member, okay? So this is what I want to correct from the young people who were just saying that Ioannis was not a member and we know he's defecting and all this kind of thing. That's not true. He was a committed member and I respect him. And I also respect his decision to leave. Coming to Comrade Angelina thing, people are saying that, you know, you were saying like people like Diomato, people like Taban and all this kind of thing. You know Taban, when he defected.
And Ian Matthew as well.
Yeah. Ian Matthew, when he defected, he have not mentioned anything too much about, you know, Angelina, even though that may be something, you know.
But he called the IO like a family thing. So
yeah, you know, everybody have been saying that. Even Taban, when they defected, they just thought that they have taken over the leadership from Dr. Riek. They didn't say that, you know, it's because of Madame Angelina and all this. Because if Taban said that it's a family thing, he was part of the family, okay? And we should all accuse him of being part of the family. And, you know, we could not entertain things that does not make sense.
No, I don't mean Taban.
Yeah, Madame Angelina. Madame Angelina actually. She's a capable cadre within the SPLM-IO, apart from being wife of Dr. Riek Machar. Madame Angelina should have problem with anybody because, you know, in any institution, everybody is fighting for the control. You know, Madame Angelina today, if people are appointed, she also need control within the movement because she want to recommend somebody that she think could do the job better. And this issue always occur within the movement. So, plus, she double also, she's having a position in the government, in the movement. She's also a wife to Dr. Riek Machar. So you will not take her away in this kind of, you know, of equation of maybe who is to be appointed and all this kind of thing. What I don't agree with, that it does not mean that Madame Angelina should not have problem within the SPLM movement with all of us. She may got into quarrel with us. She can be blamed because she's a wife of Dr. Riek Machar within the movement because of her decision. But I think there is something bigger than Madame Angelina, because if you can defect, and most importantly, Jongkor, you see where the defections are mostly happening is when people have a peace agreement. That also tells you the nature of the defection, okay? Because people now are going to the government. And definitely there are going to be appointment and all this kind of, you know, all if you read the history of our movement right now in this time, people are defecting when, you know, there is a peace agreement in processes, and it seems that there are positions, like for example, there were just name of people who were nominated to go to Juba to be advance team and all that. And you see all the defection all over. And mostly those who are defecting most of the time, it is because, you know, this we can blame into the leadership. They are, you know, the people have been using.
So does that mean then? Does that mean they are running after the position because they have seen the food is ready and it is time to go and get some, right?
That probably is a bigger part of what is happening, because if there is no name being put forward, how do you know that somebody is singling you out? Myself as Res, I know any institution have problem. And SPLM also is not exempted to all this kind of problem. Even myself, who know, maybe I have something that I don't like about Comrade Angelina, how she's doing things and all this kind of thing. Okay, but these are institution thing. Okay, and it's when I leave the SPLM if I have something, the only person that I blame should be Dr. Riek, because Dr. Riek is the leader of the SPLM. I think this is very naive to think that, you know, somebody can say because of wife of Dr. Reagan and they are leaving, and maybe they are not charging their responsibility. Okay, I want people to be honest that Madam Angelina, she's a human being. She's not perfect. She has her own problem. But to say that she's the only reason why somebody is leaving, I think there is something wrong there. And that's why I say, you know, this thing need to be also discussed when you talk to somebody who know in and out of SPLMIO, the institution of the SPLMIO, and all this kind of thing. So
yes,
to me,
you're right, Ruth, you're right, you know, my brother. But the thing is, there is a lot of information out there. People are talking about this. And the worst case scenario, sometimes when someone talks to me in private, I tell them, come, but they don't want to come forward. That's the only dark part of it. They don't want to come forward. But there are a lot of things going on behind the scene there. She's manipulative. She's the one doing this. She's so wicked. She's doing this. She's doing that. She did that to that person. She doesn't want people to raise up. So there are so many things. And that's one of the reasons, actually, I become more interested to get Angelina Teny, you know, to speak to the people of South Sudan. Actually, the power, Facebook has a power. You cannot undermine this. When you come here, you clear everything out. And your message will reach across all over other aisle, you know, to other part of the world. But again and again, they decline and they don't want to speak out. But people are talking too much, you know, they are talking too much. So go ahead and finish so I can bring another.
Well, I don't know about the wicked part and manipulative part, and I think it is good for you to look for the information, because this is what you should do as somebody who is doing the media. You can take your, you know, report from whoever you take report from, which is not to me is not very bad. This is what you should do. But what I am trying to say here is that, you know, you don't expect, you know, Angelina to be not part of the institution whereby she has a position, okay, to either defend and security committee, and you expect that somebody like this should not have an influence on how they appoint people and how you appoint people and how you select people. You cannot include her because she's a wife of Dr. Riek Machar, the chairperson, and she's very active, and she of course, you all know Angelina have been a minister in Sudan, and she have led a lot of even before the peace agreement was signed.
Actually, I don't deny that.
Okay, so now
Angelina, she's a very smart woman. I met her in person, and that's why when I asked a question, Dr. Riek did not answer my question properly. But Angelina stood up from the corner that she was sitting, and he stand in front of me, and she answered point A, point B, point D. Clear, and got me satisfied with the answer. She's very smart, and sometimes I wonder what's going on, you know.
So yeah, what I want to say that in the institution where somebody held a position, even me myself, somebody who is part of the National Liberation Council, deputy chairperson of the National Committee, I would also have problem with people, because when even in my area, when people are appointed, I will have my own opinion on who should go. Okay. And this will be also somebody, there will be also somebody who want another person to be appointed. And if my person win, somebody will not take it against me and leave the movement and say, because Res is dominating and manipulative, that's why I'm leaving the movement. I am not ruling out that people who are saying that they have issues, they have grievances, but I think that the only person that they should address their grievances is Dr. Riek Machar, who is the SPLM chairperson. Because if there is anything, you have been in this movement if there is anything that is not going on, it should be something that you tackle with Dr. Riek as the chairman. And if Dr. Riek is not taking up his role as the chairman of the movement, okay, you should also address it before you leave. And instead of saying that, because of Madame Angelina, because she's a wife of Dr. Riek, that's why I'm leaving the movement. I don't think that is not fair. And I'm not denying people like Johannes. I respect Johannes. And I would not agree, because I didn't talk to Johannes until today. I just saw his statement. And I don't like that what happened, because I know this guy is very committed member, and he has done a lot of things for the SPLM-IO, and I will not deny that he does not have any grievances. But the only thing that is, the Angelina issue, that Angelina, she's the one doing this and she's one doing this. I think this is a very naive position that any leader should not take. And if there is something wrong with Angelina, it should be Dr. Riek. It should not be Angelina, because Dr. Riek is a leader of the SPLM in opposition. If there is anything Angelina is doing right now, it may be because of Dr. Riek is not able to take up his leadership. And this would be understandable for anybody who blame it to Dr. Riek. You see, from all the people who have left the SPLM, by the way, don't forget there are people who are not even members of the SPLM-IO, and when they declare themselves to be recognized by the government, they say they are the members of the SPLM-IO. And that's why I blame also our people. They should take this seriously. Okay, I'm not talking about the unit, but a lot of defection that had happened. People will be just sitting in the camp, and they will go to Juba and they will claim that they are a member of the SPLM-IO. And I know our media didn't do a good job on this. We should be denying people like that, because we know ourselves, okay? And that also should discourage the issue of defection, because and by the way, government is not doing a good job, because they want to know that, when people are coming, people will think that the SPLM-IO people were defecting and all this kind of it. Coming to all people who have defected, okay, like Diomato, Dawa Too Young and all this, I don't think these people have a problem with Madame Angelina, as you say. They never said anything about this. They have their own issue why they defected to the SPLM-IO. And also there are defection from NAS, defection from, from Lemakol party, now they are two and all this kind of thing. You will not even blame it to wife of Dr. Lemakol and all this. So the defection being connected to, now my issue, my issue here, the whole defection being connected to Madame Angelina, I think this is not fair. Okay, because there is defection. There is defection all over the South.
We are not connecting all the defection. I started since 1983. You remember? There was Dr. Jongkor defection hustle between him and Kwadatem and and Guy Tood and all this. And then Salva Kiir himself defected in 2004. I mentioned everything. I didn't just narrow it. This thing is happening in SPLM-IO. There is a defection, even though in NAS movement, there is those Karl Butrus, they went there and then defected from Thomas Cirillo. And I keep going and over again, and that's why I came up with this here. What is the impact of defection culture? It became a culture for South Sudanese in South Sudanese politics. They move from point A from B. Sabata talk about, even though within the communities, instead of having South Sudanese community, people are defecting because if they have disagreement with the chairman or the secretary, he's gonna go to his own, small, thing and create his own thing and move to another, So it's a big thing. I am not narrowing it on the SPLM-IO, but the issue of Angelina keep coming up more often. And actually, I talked to her, like I said, I send her messages. I get responses, but they are busy. They keep saying busy. I talked to Manaw keep saying busy. But you're right. I cannot just come here and discuss this by myself. But you know what? We are tight-handed. We try to reach out, and nobody willing to speak. And someone that concerned. It is so important to bring this issue to the people of South Sudan attention and talk about it. So when my brother here called it, say that in journalists, you don't call somebody wicked. I did not call Angelina wicked, but this is what I hear from people. I'm just saying that people said she's wicked and she's doing this and she's doing that. She's manipulated. I cannot go there and call somebody wicked. I cannot call you wicked because I haven't seen anything from you that make me call you wicked. So, أنا بشكرك كل الشكر يعني اللي جاي بتاعكو حديثك to our viewers. If you want to add anything, the last thing, go ahead and add it so I can bring other person as well. Ruth, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. Like I said, Like I said, Madame Angelina, she's one of the leadership of the SPLMIO. She's involved like everybody. There is nothing unique about her. She also will have her position to disagree with people, but it doesn't mean that she can be singled out as the only problem in the SPLMIO. Any institution, they have their own problem. SPLMIO, we have our own problem. Like anybody, do they have? And Madame Angelina, if we have internal problem, she may be part of it. She could be blamed of some of it. But it doesn't mean that people who are leaving to say that they are leaving because of Madame Angelina. This is not true, because there is something more than Madame Angelina. We are at war that we want to change South Sudan. We're not changing Madame Angelina. Okay, and if anybody feel that way, they have to stand up in the SPLMIO, because we have forum, we have the National Liberation Council, we have the SPLM Political Bureau, we have Dr. Riek, who is the chairman. If these things are not happening, you go directly. Good enough, Dr. Riek is somebody who talk to anybody. So
they are saying that their voices are not being heard within, you know, the forum, within the, you know, the Liberation Council, and that's why you see all this.
I am part of the Liberation Council, and if there is somebody who is maybe talking hard, I could be one of the people who may be talking hard on people and all that. I don't see all these people talking, because we are part of the Liberation Council. I know who talk and who doesn't talk. Maybe they talk outside this forum. So what I want to say again is the issue of Salva-Kiir. I know Salva-Kiir visit to Egypt was very embarrassing, and even though you think Salva Kiir doesn't do right, he deserves right at the head of the state, because you're not honoring him, you're honoring the position, the country. Okay, even though you think like Egypt think that Salva Kiir is somebody who does not do well for his people and all this kind of thing, they should respect South Sudan. And actually, that one was insult to people of South Sudan, not to Salva Kiir actually. If people take it, this is how I look at it. Because Salva Kiir until today is the president of South Sudan. And if you go anywhere, he's not carrying himself. He's carrying the Republic of South Sudan. Even if he came with the
You're right, Ruth, and you speak to very important. I like the way you phrase it though. That's insult to the people of South Sudan. But my brother, the respect, you earn it. You don't demand it, right? You don't demand the respect. The thing is, you represent South Sudan. But when you rent a plane from Rwanda Air, actually you are already, you know, devalued your country, and you are not really to that standard. You are not representing it in a right manner, and that's why other people. Do you think what they're gonna say about you? They're gonna degrade you. They're not gonna care. I mean, he's my president, and I want him to be received like the other head of the state received by the presidents. But our president is not doing what he's supposed to do as a head of state. He's the one that brought that down, and that's why other people are not respecting him. Should we complain to those who are respecting him? You know, we have to be fair here. Go ahead and finish. Oh, the voice, we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. I don't know what happened to the volume. Oh. The volume was good, but I don't know. For now, we don't hear you. Go ahead. You guys hear him? I don't hear him at all. Sod Mavi, Sod Bitak Mavi. Yeah, we cannot hear you. I don't know what happened to the thing. No voice, you know. Volume. We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you at all, you know. You know, down. You see down there? I'm sorry, Ruth, we cannot hear his voice. Everybody cannot hear him. We tried. I think maybe when you move the device from the table, that's what we lost the volume right there. But yeah, our discussion should continue. You know, I'm not calling her wicked, Yajama, but this is what people are saying within the manzuma with the SPLM IO. So. Yeah, something went wrong with the volume.
Salamat Jongkor.
How are you? Good to see you.
Can you hear me good?
I hear you very well. For some reason, something went wrong, and I couldn't hear Ruth much.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
but
all right.
Anyway, yeah, he finalized and he speak very good, and we have a little bit of disagreement with that thing, and with the Angelina thing. Emmanuel Ring, I don't like that language. Take it back now, otherwise I will take an action. Please, I want you to erase that, the comment that you wrote there, because here we don't accept insults here. Go ahead, Emmanuel Jawin.
Thank you, Jongkor, and Happy New Year. I think we haven't spoken since the year dawned on us. I think the topic is interesting, as most of the speakers have alluded to it. But my intake on this, I'll look at it from two angles. One, I think the first question, which deals with the defection,
yes,
and the nature of defections within the Southern Sudanese political spectrum.
Yes.
And whether it is disappointing or what are the main causes of it. I'll also say that these defections are actually due to two things. One is lack of political ideology, and the second one is on personal interest or personal ambition. Now, when we talk about the lack of political ideology, if you see our country, South Sudan, we just got our independence almost 8 years now. We're going to go to 8 years. There's no really political parties per se, where there is strong political ideologies that people are basing political competition on. What is there? These are just political parties, most of them, without even any clear literature. There's no comprehensive political ideology on economics, on social reforms, on institutional reforms, and so forth. So even in the Sudan that we broke from, if you look at the political parties in the Sudan, there perhaps only two political parties that really had political ideologies. One is the Sudanese Communist Party, because they were basing their political ideology on communism, and then you have the Islamic Party, or the National Front, which was basing its ideology on the Islamic ideology. So these were even the two parties in the Sudan that had political ideologies. Most of the parties were what we call the traditional parties, like Hizbul Ummah and DUP. Now in South Sudan, the only political ideology that we had, it was during the SPLM, when the SPLM was fighting for a new Sudan. Yes. And you could see, because when a political organization or a movement has an ideology, people will follow because of ideology. It is the ideology that binds the people together, regardless of your social background, regardless of your tribal affiliation. It is the political ideology that glues us together. Now, when you look at our country, South Sudan, and let's say you look at the SPLM as a political party, it seems the ideology or the ideologue of the SPLM was Dr. John Garang de Mabio. When Dr. John died, you could see that SPLM did not really come forth with having any new political ideologies, or at least a political message that will resonate with the popular Sudanese at that time and South Sudanese. So those lack of political ideology. So what becomes of the movement? When this lack of political ideologies that glue us together, patronage and corruption become the pillars within the party. You join the party, it's not because of certain ideological beliefs. You join the party either.
But Emmanuel, if you go back to 80s and then 90s, the political ideologies was there, when Dr.
I agree with you. Even if you go to 60s, for example, if you go to 60s, if you take, for example, let's say two parties, take SANU, that was led by Daniel, and you take, for example, Southern Front, okay, or those of Kalaman Omboro. Southern Front was talking about separation or independence of South Sudan, okay, through the right of self-determination. While SANU was talking about federal system within a unified Sudan.
Yes.
So you could see these camps were based on ideological, they were anchored on ideological concept or theories or notions. And that is why you could see from all the both political parties, you have all the tribal affiliations. You will have other tribes here, you will have other tribes there, you have Equatoria here, you have Equatoria there, you have Dinka here, you have Dinka on that side. And that is why the political debate in South Sudan was healthy. You know, the political debate in South Sudan was healthy. Now, look at our country now since we got independent, okay? And look at the political parties that you have. There's not really a cohesive political ideology that is being pursued, you know? It is rather kind of a political patronage that is taking place. It is based on a tribal affiliation. So I will join you because I believe that, you know, you belong from the tribe I come from.
Yes.
Because in South Sudan, there's no nationalism, to be honest with you. It takes time for a nation to become a nation, for a state to become a nation. What we have now, we're still at the primitive stages of political development in our country, you know, intellectually speaking. You know, we don't yet feel that there's a concept of so-called nationalism that unifies South Sudan as such. There's no strong nationalism. What is strong in South Sudan is tribal affiliation. So the tribal affiliation, which is blood, is thicker than the politics in our country. In such a society, you will not rule out defections. You know, when you come to the second issue, it's based on personal interest. People are pursuing politics because of personal interest, because there's no political ideology. So I will join a political party because I want to achieve certain personal achievement. And that's why you see certain defections. Nevertheless, defections and political split also is healthy, because if it's based on political ideology and political differences, then that is important. The only way when it becomes bad is only when it's based on personal interest, you know, for looking for position. But if disagreement is based on political ideology, there's no problem with that. You know, you will never find people who having complete consensus on certain issues. People within political parties are formed and people disagree and fall out, even in America, in Britain and other places. Now, this is the two issues I would like to look at. I'll come to the other issue of Angelina. The issue of Angelina, let us also, Jamal, be honest. You know, we may disagree with Angelina on a couple of issues, but Angelina is an intellectual.
Cheers.
You know, Angelina is intellectual, is a charismatic leader, and is competent. There's no doubt about it. You know, the fact that she's a wife to Dr. Riek should not negate her competentness. You know, and also, you know, Riek leadership, I think, has been found wanting. During 1991, when those of Dr. Lam, Riek, and Gordon Kong split, and I was in Nairobi in high school at that time, you know, you could see that people were saying, no, you know, the person who is behind Nasser coup is actually Dr. Lam. You know, it is Dr. Lam that is running the show. It's not Riek. You know, now it's the same thing now with Angelina. You know, people are saying now, no, it's Angelina running it. So the question that we need to ask honestly is either Riek leadership is a style that allows others to outshine him. You know, Angelina, whether she was with Riek or she's even with the SPLM, Angelina will continue shining. There's no doubt about it. I've interacted with her several times, and also I'm not defending Angelina because she's my cousin. You know, but Angelina is a person that you have to give her credit. It's not because she's Riek's wife. Angelina is competent, and when I look across South Sudanese,
and that's why, Emmanuel, I'm not cutting you up, and that's why I said when they came in 2015, it was October 14, 2015, in Salt Lake City, in the United States, in Utah. Actually, they had very big conference. A lot of people came, you know, and I was one of the people that people say, oh, I don't want to come, I don't want to go, and I said, you need to go to that forum and ask questions. Actually, disagreeing with person, it doesn't prevent you from going and ask questions. And I went there. Actually, I must say that Dr. Riek Machar, when he answered, sometimes he can be a little bit boring, you know, when he's talk. But Angelina, actually, she's very active, and Riek escaped my questions.
Yes.
And Angelina answered my question right away. She stood up and came and answered my question. She's well educated, intellectual. She has a vision, you know. I don't disagree with her. But the problem now, people within the SPLM IO, they are the one that complaining. They're saying, oh, she's doing this and she's behind this and she's behind that. And then when you try to get them and say, okay, come here, you know, and talk, they say, no, I don't want to do that.
Jongkor, let me go back to 91. 92, 93, the Nasser faction that time, there was a lot of people who joined. Those of Dola Chwil, those of Chol Dengalak, they were called Baragazal group led by Karbino Kwanyin. Okay, We have those of Arok, Pan Arok, and so forth. And even William Nyong came later on and joined. Okay. Then when people joined, the same argument now being used again and against Angelina was used against Dr. Lam then. People were saying, well, Dr. Lam now is the one running the movement. You know, Riek, you just need to get Sora Sake, Lam Yao, Masekulushi, you know. And then this actually became a problem between Dr. Lam and Riek, and Dr. Riek has to dismiss Dr. Lam in 94, you know, because of this suspicion that Lam was running the movement. I'm not surprised that people are talking now the same talks, and it's actually again.
And that's what make President Barack Obama, because when they were campaigning for Democratic Party, of course Barack Obama won the nomination of Democratic Party to go around for the president of the United States. Now there are two giants, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. So the notion that people think Hillary is smart, you know what, Barack should appoint him. Barack Obama get pissed off because people keep talking about, hey, this woman and that woman, and then he did not appoint him to become a vice president at all. You know, kept him far away. So he appointed him on second term for the Secretary of State. You know, in the middle of the, you know. So go ahead.
So I'm not surprised if there are dissenting voices. You know, it's not everybody would like you, Jongkor, no matter how rightful you are. Jesus was the Son of God, but yet they crucified him. You know, it's not everybody that accepted this gospel, you know. So no matter how angelic you may be, you know, it's not everybody will like you, you know. Some people will just hate you for the sake of it. Some will just look for excuses that this is you that is behind their problems. But of course, I'm not saying that Angelina, she's an angel. She may have her own shortcomings. But one thing we need to give to her, what I know from interacting with her many times and for over years, Angelina is a competent cadre. Even during the peace talks, you could see her, you know, being articulate, you know, putting her points across. There's no doubt about it. And we should not just downplay her because she's happened to be Riek's wife. That is what I call the accident of nature. You know, we don't, you know, sometimes you don't know who you fall in love with or who marry. But that should not negate that because she's competent, be it wife of Victoria or not, Angelina would have been still being competent. Those who have differences with her, I don't know the differences, but let us give her credit. Now, coming to the last point, I'm going over it roughly because I know other people want to talk.
Correct.
The issue of reception of
President Kiir.
You know, this is not the first time for President Kiir to be welcome or to be received by the Minister of Agriculture or Water Resources. This has been happening quite frequent. Now we don't know whether it is a dramatic message they're sending it to Kiir, or you know, this is how they look at South Sudan from the premises of the Egyptian national interest. It's something that need to be looked at. As you said, in Egypt, you have actually president and prime minister in Egypt. If I'm not wrong. There's a prime minister. So in the protocol wise, if the president is not available, the prime minister should be there, you know, to receive. And if the prime minister is not available, at least the minister of foreign affairs, you know, should be there to receive the president of another country. Even if our strategic relations with Egypt is based on water, you know, it does not prevent the Minister of Agriculture later on after the reception, you know, to escort him to the president's office. You know, these are natural things that happens. But of course, the Egyptians' interest in South Sudan is not new. You know, it has been there since 1950s. I told you before that in one of the campaigns in 1955, before Sudan became independent, an Egyptian commissioner went all the way to Rumbek and Agar, and they started dancing naked like the Agars, thinking that you know the Agar will vote for a united Sudan, for Sudan to unite with Egypt, you know, but to these disappointments. Egyptians, they have never looked at us from a strategical point of view. They look South Sudan only from the premises and from the angle of exploiting South Sudan in terms of the resources and the water resources. This is how the Egypt look at it. We are not a strategic ally, but we are tactical to them. Kiir may not have been forthcoming to what the Egyptians may wanted in terms of standing with them firmly regarding the Renaissance Dam that is being built in Ethiopia, which is almost on the verge of completion. This has been a problem. This has been a thorn on the side of the Egyptians, you know. So Kiir may have not come forth strongly in their support. Perhaps Kiir is you know, master aside bonus, and this may not go well with the Egyptians. They may not be happy. Maybe they are uncomfortable with it. So the reception by sending a minister, it could be also a diplomatic message that, look, dude, you're not that important to us, you know, you better deliver on what you have already promised us. And this could be the angle they're looking at, you know. So to me, It could be a diplomatic message, and also it could tell you that only Egyptians look at us from the angle of agriculture and water resources in the relationship with South Sudan.
Very thoughtful, Emmanuel. I like that. But Emmanuel, I might ask you this question: why President Kiir keep renting airplane from these countries? Why? You know, it's not because we don't have money. I actually 100% I will disagree with that. Why keep renting Ethiopian Airlines, Rwanda Air, Kenyan Air? What is the problem? What is the symbolic Republic of South Sudan? So when he land, people will say, "Oh, that's the president of South Sudan landing there." What is the problem? It's irritates me. It's someone that loves South Sudan. It's someone that concerned. I love my country. I want to see the flag of my country everywhere. I want to see the symbol of my country everywhere, wherever president go, because it's recognized worldwide. What is the problem? Can you?
You know, Jongkor, the first thing that really upset me, it's not because he was received by the Minister of Agriculture. You know, when you look behind him, you see the Rwandan Airlines or the Rwanda, whatever, you know, just a big mark there.
Giant, yeah. Giant.
And I'm just wondering, this is a president of a sovereign state, you know, why on earth can you not afford to have your own plane, you know? This could be paid for by the government of South Sudan. As you said, we know that poor. Is South Sudan poor than Rwanda? You know,
no.
Not to own a presidential jet, you know? So I think this is also, not only that, Jongkor, but if you go to Juba, if we're exporting tomato and all these things from Uganda, you know, where's the pride? You know, where's the pride we have? You know, if a president is not even proud, you know, of his own country to have his own plane with the flag of South Sudan, it tells you a lot about the mentality and how this guy really thinks. You know, so to me, it's really an annoying fact, and we hope our brothers in the government will try to sort this out. It is shameful for our country, you know, not to have at least their own presidential jet. But I think what is also important, Jongkor, is that the government of SPLM in Juba, it is a government that is clearly surrounded by psychophons. Sorry to say this. He is not surrounded by people who will challenge him.
Psychopaths, yes, you're right.
Yes, yeah. These are the guys who will just say, "Wallahi, Ben, you're doing good. Wallahi, you're doing good. You did this, you say this," you know. And this is a problem. This is how you build the dictators, you know. But if there were people really who are concerned about their country, they would have advised the president that, president, you know, time has come for you to have your own plane, you know. And then, you know, you get a private jet. There are a lot of pilots in Juba that South Sudanese, even if he wants for his own security, to fly the plane, you know. But for you to use Rwandan airline or any other
passenger
plane, it's just demeaning, because I'm sure those who are serving the air hostess and all whatever, they're actually Rwandese. You know,
they are.
South Sudanese, you know, come on, man. You know, it's a country. You have to be proud of your country. You know, but if a president behaves like this, Jongkor, who will respect you? You have to respect yourself first to be respected. You know, but if you're behaving in such a way, you know, nobody will respect you. You always people look at you condescendingly, you know, and they will think that you're not that important anyway. And then you will give them the treatment that you've been given to care, you know. So in a nutshell, these the issues that we are discussing are pertinent, and I think we don't have to be harsh on South Sudanese. Our society is on the infancy of political maturity in terms of organizing. Yes, the guys were mentioned in 60s and 80s, Jongkor, those guys were really politicians. You know, you can tell they were really politicians. They knew what they were doing. Not only that, you know, do you know Juba? And the ministry was Zarat Hassan Mujud for Juba. The budget of the government of South Sudan at that time was no more than $500,000 US. This is what they built, Juba, that we're talking about now. Arabat Bita was Zarat, they used to exchange it among themselves. Arabat Khan Mahduda, you know, but the little money they have, they built. You know, was Zarat. What did the SPLM do when we got the independence, or when people went to Juba after the CPA? We only refurbished these ministries with millions of dollars, more than what the money they were built. You know, so there's a gap between the political generation that you had in the 60s and the generation that you have now in the SPLM and leadership in Juba. These are the guys who don't have any clear roadmap, you know, to build the infrastructure of the country. They're the people who don't have the feelings that you and I are having, and our audience tonight, feeling the pain that a country cannot even have their own planes. You know, so these are the remarks I actually wanted to add into your talk.
Thank you, Emmanuel Jawin. Please stick around. It was really articulate point here. Joseph, human right, or Joseph Nyat, I don't buy the idea that you're saying that if President Kiir buy an airplane and then we will accuse him of you know, is embezzling money. That's not true, because actually, being a president, it is a package. The office of the president, everything, the staff, the airplane. Where do you think we are coming from? Are we coming from where? From another planet? We are here on Earth, right? Nobody's gonna bias that. The fact is, you know, I know our president is not trusting people around him. That's what it is. But you should not be in fear all the time, and then otherwise you will not function and you will not do your job. If you are in job and you scared and you fear always people with you in the office, you're going to work every day, and then there is no point, you know, going to that job, going to the office every day. There is no point. You can look for another job. I myself, that's what I would do. I would look for another job. If I'm scared of them, if I'm scared of chief staff or scared of, you know, other supervisor down there, you know, I will leave the job then. Right? It doesn't mean that if president, you know, if our late hero, Dr. Jongkor, die with plane crash, and then President Kiir is going to die with plane crash. It's simply there is no trust among themselves. What Emmanuel says is right. Psychopaths, people will pretend that they are with you, but actually, in reality, they are not with you. And so President Kiir, you know, he started keeping himself, you know, more. And he said, oh, I don't want to die, man. I spent 22 years in Bush, and these guys, they want to get with me. If I have a presidential airplane run by South Sudanese, a pilot South Sudanese, flight attendant at South Sudanese, those, who knows, maybe somebody will put a bomb and then I will fly and die somewhere. That's the mentality. But why should you think, why would you think that way then? Why would you think that way anyhow? Why do you think you're going to die, you know, in an airplane? Why? You build the system and you trust it. That's the system that you built. You're supposed to trust it. It hurt me, you know, when I see that, because I love the country and I love the symbol of the country. And you supposed to be concerned too. And every South Sudanese is supposed to be concerned. To see your president, you know, going with a foreign plane, you know, in another country. People will not recognize until in the news, oh, the president of South Sudan was here actually. Because they will see there, Rwandan air is like a president of Rwanda. To that extent, Magul Zolukun Khaif, to that extent, what it is, be a man. Yeah, be a man to run this country. You didn't scare going to Bush and fighting, and you see Antonov coming ahead of you, dropping bombs. No, I don't know. It's so disgusting, you know. So let me go ahead and see who else, you know, waiting for me to bring them here live. I saw so many people have requested. I'll bring you as well. Okay, Gak Simon, I'll bring you right away. Let me see here. What happened here? Okay. Yeah, Jamal, go ahead and share video so other people can see it, because it looks like people are not online. So go ahead and share this 110, and then we move on. So Gak Simon, I'm calling you. Gak Simon. Gak Simon, I'm calling you. I hope your network will work so we can bring you live. Hello, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, sir.
Are you hearing me, Jongkor?
Very well, we hear you very well.
It's amazing. With God Common Disease live here with Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Yes. Can you believe it?
You better change that.
It's always amazing.
You don't need that common disease name. Gag is good. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, it's somebody from your area. Give me the name and popularize it, and I cannot find everyone, so I accept it to be my name.
Somebody from my area.
And Yeah.
What area is
We
that?
have.
If I may ask, where is that area?
Okay, Jongkor, I have been somebody who has been a friend to many people in South Sudan.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was at school in Kekuma Refugee School,
Mm-hmm.
we have friend, and you may know somebody, Tong Marefu, the tall one. And we have some of the people from Tony community.
Mm.
And his name is called Bona. We used to play, and he limped, and I call him Aina, and he
I'm not
called
from
me
Tony
coming a
though.
couple.
I'm not from Tony
Yeah,
though.
I know. You are from a will, but Tong was the supporter of that too. So,
Anyway, let's go ahead
so
and
but
give us the
anyway, yeah. Anyway, the most important, Junkor, I would like to say thank you for having me on the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I have been following you for more than a year now. And I believe number of discussions that you have been doing are really good for us as a concerned citizen of South Sudan. There were a number of topics that I was like to touch base with you, but we did not. I did not make it because list is long and there were many guests and time is short.
Yes.
Today's discussion is very interesting and it's a good one as well. I think the issues with defection within the South Sudanese since the start of self-determination or self-governing in Sudan and now South Sudan has number of histories or stories about disunity among South Sudanese by themselves. And you see, the question is very long and broad, but it's worth having attention to it. Because if we don't understand what make us divide and what make us unite, and what are the lessons we learn from those, then we are leading nowhere. So the question is relevant today and tomorrow, and will keep us in the future. So what I can say about the defection within the SPLM or all about the sourceness, number one, I would say is that one of the things that have been said, especially the vision, yes, vision is one of them, and I love you people differ because of vision that keep checking on others, which is good. There are no negative within the parties, the parties. So number one, if we talk, for example, of 1991, 1991 is a major one we could learn. The number of defections that we have in 1991 has caused both negative and positive. And a number of negatives that we have was there were a number of people lost, and the vision was not clear. And vision was about a vision about the United Sudan, or whether South Sudan can have a self-independent claim by the Nasser faction. And that vision was not in a holistic, because if they fight they fight South Sudanese themselves, how they fight for the South Sudanese vision not well resonated with South Sudanese and the rest. I think that vision did not go well. And because of that, it has weakened the SPLM to the level where we are now. Because we know that time, the SPLM was in the badge of controlling the whole country. And because of that, we went back and we were very weak at that particular time. Given the Magisa Al-Mariam.
Okay.
And because of that, are you hearing me, Joko? Are you there?
Yeah, I am. But it looks like
Hello?
your network is cutting off.
Okay. So, and because of that, Jongkor, we could see what brought us down to this was that of the defections. So, to weaken us, it is one of the impacts that we had. And always, this unity of South Sudanese prolong our way of independence. But we reach at the end of the day. So that's what I can say in terms of defection. And the number of defection has number of issues. Some are among the rivalries among the political elites within Sudan, I mean South Sudan, at the same time, or people themselves, they would love to have a leadership, rivalry of leadership, or sometime so and so is influential, so and so is not considering, and that's clear happen all the time if you go to the history of Africa or other part of the world. So that's what can happen, and in that regard, we are weakened so bad. And given the current conflict in South Sudan, now we have the civil war. There is defection within the SPLM, SPLM-IO. There is defection within the SPLM and other political parties, because people, they don't have the vision, they don't know what to do.
They unite,
and people
so
also
they unite in
need
so
resources.
affected also. Go ahead.
Yes, yes. So when you look here, there is no cohesion, there is no a holistic approach or a vision that we Southerners can actually believe which is which, and who are really standing up for the people. Because if there are issues, people should be communicating ideologies and ideas and how to make our country stable, a country that we inspire to, and then we all should be proud of it. But the question becomes now, as a need opposition, some they need position, some they need attention that is not necessary, it's not for respect. We need something that can have the future for us. So, and because of that, Jongkor, we don't have really answers. We can get physics there, but impact are things that are immeasurable. We can see it prolong the suffering of our people. We can see also it cause us number of deaths. It's not bringing us to the way that we are supposed to be, Jongkor. And I believe the main thing we should do is that the politicians should craft their vision in a practical way. And that's what I can say. It prolong our suffering. Is not giving us a good really the national ideas. Is giving us a bad image. But what I would love to say, Jongkor, is that in one way or another, they are taking us into something. And so long there are people talking, we will one day arrive at our destination. And in Angelina Teny, look, Jongkor, there is no doubt about that, always, if you read Emma Ward, I don't know, you read that book or no?
No, I did not.
Yes, it is always that people will accuse the next influential decision making in the party, and Angelina is not an exceptional to that. And it is about who is close to the chairperson, who's influencing him, whose voice is not heard. So sometimes when you feel you are playing a major role, and you see that there are people making decisions somewhere there, and you are not considered, you will say, it's Angelina Teny. And Angelina Teny, her contribution is huge in Sudan and in South Sudan at the same time in SPLM-IO. He play a greater role, and she is very intelligent, is one of the strongest women in South Sudan. And because of that, you don't deny the fact that people who see her a threat to them will not run away. They will do that, but in actual fact, political arena in South Sudan or in SPLM-IO, what they should do is that to come and resolve the matters amicably among themselves, so that they have a very strong voice in South Sudan political arena. And if they don't do that, that is also weaken them in a way that they will not be taken seriously by the citizen, because people don't know who is making decision. Is it Riek Machar? Is it Angelina Teny? Is it political brew? Is it other factors, other influencers and decision makers? This is a problem, Jongkor. But What would have been good is that the SPLM should come up with clear objective and the way that they need to see how Sudan would look like. And then they challenge the current government that so and so these things are not done in this way. We want South Sudan to be like this. And that will give South Sudanese people a choice to see what vision is best suits their future. And now, and we are not seeing that. We are seeing finger pointing, blaming game. Jongkor, they take us nowhere, blaming game and finger pointing, whether within a government, within SPLM or other political parties. It doesn't make sense. They should unite for the principle and ideologies. And that's what we're looking for. We are not seeing that as a citizen clearly. And this is the issue we have.
Yeah, but we here in our role on the social media, whatever you call it, our role is to bring this to the people attention so they can discuss. I have been reaching out to the people because politicians, they do their own thing behind the scene and they don't want people to know what they are doing. And that's why we end up with more problems. But anything that if they are transparent with the public, it will make a lot of difference always, if you are transparent. Gotta look at the other countries, whatever they do when it comes to a budget, when it comes to a political, ideology, whatever they wanted to do, it has to be there for the public. Public has to be engaged. And those people actually, they don't want to engage public. And you have seen that I send a lot of people, they don't want to appear, and yet I am not the one that making this allegation, saying that Angelina is this and this and that. People within their own organization. And when you don't speak and when you don't put people, when you are not clear with the people, that's where the voices are, always, up there. It's not different than the President Kiir, the way he was running the country. They are not allowing people to talk. They don't want to tell people what is the vision, and it's not clear. People defected. But now people are starting defecting from here to there, and here to there. It become a culture. You know what I mean? So, Gak, thank you for coming to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. I want to give you the last last word, and then say your last word so I can bring other people as well.
Thank you, Jongkor. Look, what is important, you see the participatory approach being used by the current, they either call it the political parties or the factions that are within SPLM. You see how they can engage with people is a major issue they are failing to do. They should have a method of engaging connect with the people, a participatory leadership where people are having a forum and give people a space in the public sphere. What we are seeing in the government, what we are seeing in SPLM, Mayol at the same time, or other political parties, is a monopoly whereby few are still trying to manipulate the system. But this is outdated. This is a whole approach. It's not working anymore. We are looking for the alternative. They should allow people, and they should communicate their vision and goals clearly in a way that they are connected and engaged with the people. So we don't see the reason they are fearing. And amazing and interestingly, in the current time, Jongkor, no one controls information anymore. What they are hiding there is that they don't know we know it. And they should come out and say exactly this is what we are doing, and we will put our input, and then we say, look, what you are doing is correct here, what you are doing is not correct here, and we move forward.
Yes.
And yes, they are still in hiding, Jongkor. This is a method of I would say 70s, or it could be Madiba or Mongolo, but this is not a current ideology. So let's hope there will be. And we're looking for the politician that can inspire and give a space to a public sphere where there are a forum, objectives are communicated, and people have input. So that's what I can say. And thank you, Jongkor, for having me. I'm very happy to contribute to this. And Happy New Year to 2019.
Thank you so much, Brother Gak. Thank you. It was good having you with our forum here, Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. I like your thought and articulate point. Thank you so much. So let's continue. First of all, I just wanted to give a few responses to those who keep writing here. And it's good to engage. I love that, actually. When you disagree with me, that's fine. First of all, Brother Akolchitik, he wrote a comment when we talk about how the President here was received in Egypt by the Minister of Water and Irrigation in Cairo. Listen, this is what happening. You made a contrast with the Iraqi government. You said that when President Trump went to Iraq, actually was not received by the president. This is misleading, Brother Akol, because President Trump, when he went to Iraq, it was not disclosed. His visit to Iraq was not disclosed. Why? Because for security reasons, because the United States invaded Iraq. They have forces there. And there is no need, to disclose it for security reasons. And the Iraqi government was not happy because actually they are the one came out in the media. They said, it shouldn't be that way. You disrespect our country. You should come to the right channel and then we can receive you at the airport. The notion that you are saying that, President Trump was not received by president, this is his will. He did it for their own national security. And that's why he landed in U.S., containment area in Iraq and the bases, and then received by the U.S. troops. And then after that, he went to Iraqis, but they didn't want to do it, the way that you are thinking. So that's a misleading statement, actually, comparing the case of President Trump going to Iraq with the South Sudan president going to Cairo. These are totally different things, and you are misleading. This is his will. President Kiir will love to have, President Sisi come to the airport and receive him as the head of the state. It didn't happen, and I already gave, the reason when I made a point in a little area. And also, I have a brother or a sister, I don't know, Oputa Arop Otto. Oputa Arop Otto here made a comment, and he said, well, we should swallow. We should swallow the cheap, allegation that we are making, because President Kiir actually, his intention is to save the money, and he doesn't want to buy an airplane because that will be a spending and all that. What are you talking about? 18 million was distributed, to members of National Legislative Assembly that are not doing anything with the country. Are you saying that guy is saving money? $4 billion was stolen. President Kiir didn't pursue anyone. He did not. He wrote letters to 75 of them. Do you send a letter to a criminal, to someone who stole the money, or you arrest them and take them to jail, or you allow the justice system to go and persecute them? I think here you are lost. You are not making any solid argument whatsoever. And you see, I love this, because sometimes when you don't have a mental conviction in your thought, when you don't have mental conviction supporting somebody, that's what it's boiling to. You just end up making arguments that don't make sense to anyone. Doesn't make sense. This is symbolic. This is the president of the country. Having a presidential airplane has nothing to do with the national spend, because it's a package included. The office of the president, the staff and the food and all these things, they are included, and the motorcade, all this included. That's the weak argument you are making, my brother. And I hope you can request, I can bring you live and make that solid argument. I want you to challenge me. I want you to prove that, what you said is, it makes sense to our people. It makes sense to our viewers. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Yes. You cannot, people, stole $4 billion and you're telling that they try to save money. That's why they don't want to buy an airplane. And imagine, we were so eager to see a symbolic of our country because we just break away yesterday. And we have that pride. We are proud. We have that pride to see flag of our country flying everywhere, to see the symbol of our country everywhere. But this guy has let us down. And he keeps doing it. And people with mental, with no mental conviction, like such as this guy, they still support, they still say, oh, he's doing right thing. Even though if you say, no, they still, this guy is doing right thing. But it's not right. Anyway, let me go ahead and get other people, to come and make their point as well. Yes, thank you. Mr. Tuj Quick. Tuj, I am calling you.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan.
Nice to invite me. Thank you for inviting me to the topic, which is the culture of a split among the South Sudanese opposition.
What is the impact?
Topic,
yes. What is the impact of culture of defection within South Sudanese politics? And also, is Angelina Teny a co-chair of SPLM-IO? Because people have been talking and talking and talking, and they think she's behind those who are leaving SPLM-IO. And as you are all aware of Johannes Musa, I did not invite him, but actually I become more interested to bring him to our show so he can speak here. And what are the reasons? Because he mentioned a lot that Angelina so, Angelina so, Angelina so. So, Tuit, welcome one more time. Floor is yours.
Thank you. When it comes to the first topic about the culture of the flag, it's not something new in South Sudanese politics. A lot of people, I think, they talk about the historical background of the flags. For me, I will take it from, I'm not going to repeat whatever those brothers and sisters before me said. I'm going to take it from our brothers in the current situation of the opposition. If you see Jongkor, if in any revolution and any rebel, there is objective. You set up a goal and you have a mean to achieve that goal, either politically or military or diplomatic. But the most important thing you got to have a strong belief in what you are fighting for. This is most important.
Correct.
What I see on the opposition, they lack. They don't have that
but
strong soul.
The defection ما بينحصر فقط ل SPLM-IO. Defection بدأت منذ 1983. Quadatem, Dr. John, Abdullah Swar, Gaitut, listen, and those Kabila Nyuan, Aroktan Arok, so many defections. They become part of the culture. Even President Kiir himself defected in 2005. And you remember that famous reconciliation in Rumbek? I'm sorry.
Like I'm talking to you, like I tell you, I'm not gonna go deep in that history.
Okay,
because
go ahead.
People spoke about it. So, and when I'm talking, I'm not a specific single out whether is the South Sudanese opposition in general in the current situation where we are in.
Okay.
So if you lack the objective, you can set up a goal and you try to convince people, but deep that in your heart, if you don't believe in that, you would be deceiving people because you will be preaching something which is not true. Like if you say, if you take into the Riek Machar when he deflect or when the war broke out in 2013, those people, the very first meeting which was included the Dengalor and Pagana Mom and all these people, if there is one common thing among those people, all of them, they lost their job with Salva Kiir. And suddenly, when they lost their job, the government become bad and they bring the change and accountability and the rule of the justice. But when they were in the system and they are enjoying the leverage, being part of the government, you know, the salaries, the vehicle, the entourage, and all these subsidizes, they never think about it. And they come out here and preaching to the people that the government is this, and government is that. But they are using this just to go back to where they were. And they left the people of South Sudan aside, which they believe in them. This is the problem. There is no principle. There is no values. There is no solid ground you stood on it to bring the change, and it made me worried. Although I'm a government supporter, but I need a strong opposition in which, if they're ready to take the power, they can run the government as usual. But if you see this opposition, they are incompetent, and the reason I say they're incompetent, look now what happened in NDM, National Democratic Movement. Chang Swan and Peter Cadet, they split into two, because is because of the seat of the 5th vice president. I think Lama Col wanted, but Bakasor wanted, whoever wanted. So if you see how the opposition fall apart, the opposition fall apart after the signing of the peace agreement and share power and the position and the job are there. People totally forget about why they were fighting about. The reason, the justice, the accountability. Matter of fact, they fail miserably to implement the rule of the law and the system within their party, which they are controlled 100%. So if you fail to implement all the principles, all the ideas, all the objectives you are fight for within the organization, which you are controlled 100%, and those who are in those organizations are your members, how are you going to come and bring change to South Sudan? That's what I always say is a political hypocrisy, and people of South Sudan, they are watching. It is good to have a peace in the country. It is good for the gun to be silent, but when we come talk to about objective, we need to single out who got the principle and who got the objective and who is a power seeker. Those who are in the opposition, they are power seeker. That's why the opposition fall apart. As soon as the
you
position,
think all of them are power seekers? They are not representing any political ideologies. That's what you're saying, too?
the political, yeah, I don't see the political ideologies there. What I see is a bunch of power seekers people. They want to go back to their jobs and become part of the system which Kir sucked them. And now this peace deal is all about them to go back to their jobs. The only person you can challenge him is Thomas Cirillo. Thomas Cirillo, he rebelled when he was active general in the SPLM.
He resigned first.
He has his own objective. I don't know what they are, but the rest of the opposition, except Thomas Cirillo, and I think Dr. Lamakol also, after the peace deal collapsed in 2016,
resigned.
So these two individuals, they are exceptional, but the rest of the opposition, they are.
So now, you're saying that Thomas Cirillo is legit because he resigned from the government and then he started fighting. Lamakol is the same. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, this one cannot apply on Thomas Cirillo because Thomas Cirillo was active general when he rebelled and he declared that he's no longer part of the government for whatever reason that he declared, the federalism and all that kind of thing. But if you want to challenge Cirillo, you want to challenge him based on what he's preaching for, what he's calling for. But call him a job seeker. I think maybe if you're looking for a higher position, it might be. We will see at the long term. We don't know what will happen. But until then, Cirillo is exceptional because he rebelled while he's a deputy of Joint of Chief of Staff for logistic, and that rule it doesn't apply on Cirillo and Dr. Lamakol. Maybe they deflect because they are looking for something bigger or a bigger position than the position where they were. This thing, the coming days.
What's something bigger than being a vice chief of staff of services in the military? He's the one that go out of the country and do a contract and bring the guns. That's what I know. So Thomas Cirillo, he was, in that regard. Or Lamakol was Minister of Agriculture. So what higher position are you talking about here they were looking for? And they are getting high paid.
If you see Dr. Lamakol and Dr. Riek Machar and Salva Kiir and Waniga are the same level. Maybe Dr. Lamakol, he didn't like it to be just a regular minister. Maybe he looking for a higher position, maybe a vice president or something bigger. And the reason I brought this up, if you see the split happen within NDM, because the fifth vice president is supposed to go to NDM. And Dr. Lamakol, I think he was looking for that position. And he did his move, bringing Peter Gadet because he knows Gadet gonna return the favor to him, and Gadet gonna be nominating him because Peter Gadet cannot be the chairman of the movement and nominate himself at the same time. So the protocol and the culture is known. You nominate somebody else not in a leadership position within your party. So by that, Lamakol could get his way to the presidency. But if you came to the regional balance, it's not. I talk about it with you in your show. It doesn't add up because you're going to have 3 from Great Upper Nile, Dr. Riek Machar and Tadengai and Lama Col. 3 of them are from Upper Nile. It doesn't good. And even if Changson, it doesn't come with Changson, because if you bring Changson from Nuer, you're going to have 3 Nuers from the Great Upper Nile. If you bring Gadet, both the same thing. So this is, like I tell you from my prediction, the way I know politics in South Sudan, it's going to go to Bakosoro. And you're going to have 2 from Equatoria and 2 from Great Upper Nile. And we in Bahar Ghazal, we're going to remain with Salfa in the presidency. So seeking a position is a big element in the deflect within the movement of the opposition. You see now people are switching and are switching here and there. So what is important? What are the objectives these people are calling for? You know, the objective, and I'll be clear and frank, they want to go back to that job, which is not bad. Let them come, let them have that job, and let them have peace in the country. We don't need anybody to be killed. We don't need anybody to be displaced. We need to live in peace and harmony. If the price of the peace is giving those people jobs, let us give them jobs, and let's have this peace, and we move the country forward.
So when it comes to Angelina, what is your responses? Those who are defecting from IO, they are complaining and they are blaming everything to Angelina Teny. What is your intake on that?
Okay, this is my take. If you see Jongkor in African culture, there is something, not in African culture, in a human being culture. They say, you know, the man, it tests when he have everything. When you have a power, you have everything. That's where you test, and your true character is gonna be emerged, because you have everything, and you are afraid of anything, and you got nothing to hide. And a woman, it tests when a man.
Actually, Abraham Lincoln said that if you want to know the real character of man, give him the power.
Okay, give him the power. And if you and if you are a married, all of us we have women. If you want to know your woman real, what kind of woman is in a position, you are in a weak position, you don't have power, you are vulnerable, you got nothing. That's where the true color of your woman or your wife gonna, because you are weak, she got nothing to afraid of, and she can show her real character.
So now you are telling me that because Angelina now she got power, we
no, listen to me.
Her character.
No, let me finish.
Okay,
Angelina, she worked with Dr. Riek Machar for 40 years in the bush while he was under heavy fire from whoever. I don't want to say names.
It is the government,
but
of course.
She was with him in those very critical moments where Dr. Riek Machar was very vulnerable, when he was weak, when he was chased, when he was in life and death situation. This woman, she was there with him. If Dr. Riek Machar has to die at that time, she will die with him. And now he's alive. After he alive, now he become a vice president. The strength of the woman within the family is cement. When you are wife, she go with you through hell, through bad, through good things. This is where Angelina Teny get strength. I think she's the most powerful woman in South Sudan, and someday she will write a story.
I agree. I agree. She's the most powerful woman in South Sudan. I agree with that. No question.
She will write a book about her experience being in the bush with Dr. Riek Machar for 48 days, walking on the foot until they go to Congo. It is not an easy thing. That's where Angelina get her strength, and that's where she got grip on the power within the IO, and she got respect, I think, from all South Sudanese, regardless whether you are in the government or whether you are in the opposition. The situation Angelina handled with Dr. Riek Machar, regardless, we are a government supporters or we are an opposition, is something make you admire and show the strength of of the South Sudanese woman. This is a credit to her. So within this experience, Angelina become more popular, become more powerful. And those who are in IO, they are complaining that there is an office within the office. So Riek Machar, he got his own office, he got his own system. But within that system, there is Angelina's system. And those who are close to Angelina, they are the one who are decision maker right now. I'm not an IO person, but I'm taking it from the live show that Johan Musa Fok made 2 days ago, yesterday or the day before yesterday, to explain the reason why he resigned from the IO. Because within the IO, there is an office within the office. Angelina is the one who running everything. And if you want to talk to Dr. Riek Machar, you have to go through Angelina. If she approve you, and then you will get contact with Dr. If she don't, so she become powerful, and she have a iron grip on the thing in the IO. And a lot of people they don't like that. They like to deal with Dr. Riek Machar
directly
within within Angelina being in the middle. I think that's upset a lot of people, and maybe some people they were promised with the position within the government, and according to the whatever is leaked, their name are not there because everybody has to be vetted and has to be approved by Angelina, as far as I know, from the sources related to IO, and according to Johan Mosafok. For Angelina, she's powerful and she's getting more powerful. And our brother and the IO, they need to deal with Angelina, and they need to know this is a reality. That's how politics in South Sudan, and you need
and not only that, Twitch, I want to add something. Angelina, she actually she earned that respect from supported by IO for what she has done. You know, the suffering that Dr. Riek have gone through. You mentioned
even me, I have a big respect for her.
Yeah, because she has gone through without any backing up, without any hesitation. You know, someone. Yeah, that's I would not say, you know, just only Nuer population, but everyone who's supporting the IO, Angelina earned respect from them, from that perspective. But sometimes I get confused when people within the IO, you know, they said, no, she's wicked, she's doing this, she's doing that. And that's why I was extending, you know, invitation to her to come to our, you know, show, or a spokesperson of Angelina even, to come and clarify some stuff, you know. Go ahead.
I wish you the best to get in touch with Angelina. I'm glad to come and see her on your show so she can give us more information. But we hear it from here and there that she's the one controlling the IO. And I give you my analysis is not 100%, but I think the role she played with Dr. Riek Machar within the 48 days in the bush does give her that strength and give her that support within the IO. And now she become a decision maker and a policy designer, which a lot of people, I think, they will never gonna like it, and they will never get along with it. But this is the way it is in the politics of our beloved country, South Sudan. They say only in America, but there is some stuff they are only in South Sudan. If you hear in the news 2 days ago, there is a minister of, I think, infrastructure. He is sitting for South Sudanese secondary school within, and he had a position being a manager of plan and budget and all this stuff. He don't have a high secondary school. So it is only in South Sudan such things, Brother Jongkor, happen. So yeah, so people need to be ready, not to be alarmed or not to be surprised if such thing happens, because this is the new norm in our politics in South Sudan.
Thank you. Tut, last not least, I want you to give me insight. The reception of President Kiir in Cairo International Airport by the Minister of Water and Irrigation of Egypt. Was that disrespectful to the head of state of South Sudan? What is your insight, brother?
Well, I think the Republic of Egypt, they are free to send anybody to receive the president at the airport. You know, you cannot tell another country, this is you guys what to do to me. But
But he's the head of the state. It should be received by the head of the state.
I understand that, but that's how it came. So, but most important, he has.
Here, I'm sorry, even here in the United States presidents don't go and wait at the airport to receive any president. No, it's not on their protocol. But what they do, they wait in White House, on the door of the White House, when a president comes to the door of the White House, and then those will shout, the president of the Republic of South Sudan. And then the door will be open, and then the president is there on the door, will shake the hand and welcome him inside. That's how they do it, right? That's the protocol. But Egyptian, they have been receiving princes and kings and presidents, Emirates, Saudi Arabia, whatever, at the airport. When it comes to South Sudan, they did not.
مصالح احيانا بتلعب دور كبير في انه how the head of state of other country will receive. If you look in our situation now in South Sudan, the economy is bad. We have a war, we have a hunger, we have a lot of trouble at home. And Egyptian President Sisi, he don't see that there is much interest come with President Kiir, so he came to the airport and received him in person. I think if it was a king of Saudi Arabia or the crown prince of Emirates or one of these rich countries of Gulf, Sisi himself will go to the airport and receive him because he knows this guy came with a bundle of dollars. But our president, he came with a lot of problem of South Sudan, so that's why he sent him the Minister of Irrigation. But what important the most, he received like the protocol, and he gave all the dignitary things that they do it to any president. That's the most important. But all in all, any country, they are free to send anybody to receive the president. But it is really it is not good. That's why we South Sudanese need to understand one thing. For our president to be respected in the international stage, we need to have a strong country. We need to have a strong economy. We need to have peace. We need to have stability. We need to have growth, economic growth, and we need to have harmony. The more the country is stable, and the more the economy is growing, and people are benefiting, and people are progress, the powerful you got in the international stage, and you get respect. But if it is other way around, if you have a country with a war and a lot of trouble, you are present in the international state is not going to be that powerful. So anything you do home, anything happen in your house,
reflect
your image. It's like we have families, we have houses. If you don't manage your house good and you are not a responsible person, you will not be respected among your colleagues, the rest who are doing good in their houses. The same thing to the country. That's why we need to support this peace deal and stabilize the country and move the engine of economy. Our people can progress and grow so we can get respect at the international stage. The respect and strength in the international stage, it doesn't come just like that. It's a long process. It starts from home, it starts from peace, it starts from reconciliation, it starts from having a strong institution, deliver the service to the people. That's how people evaluate you in the international stage. But if you have a weak country with fragile government, tribal, or a lot of a problem, this is the image, and we need to accept it. And if it is bad, and if and we don't like it, we need to work hard to fix it, to make our country better in order to make our president better on international stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Too Quick, for coming on. I couldn't agree with you anymore with that point. You have to be you have to do good inside in order to be respected outside. So please, my brother, go ahead and just stick around there. I'm going to go and bring other South Sudanese here so they can participate. Could you remind me, actually, a discussion between Larry King and the rapper Snoop Dogg? Taban, those who don't know Snoop Dogg is a rapper in the United States. You know, he sing like, you know what I mean? The song of the rap. And then one day he was a guest on Larry King live. Snoop Dogg is very skinny, you know, very skinny guy. And then Larry King saw Snoop Dogg, you look so good. You are in your 40s, late 40s, and you still look good. You don't have big stomach, because in America, stomach is the bad thing. You know, when you are fat and all this thing, it's not. It's obese. It means that you are not taking care of yourself. You eat junk food and something like that, and it can cause complication, more diseases, sugar, you know, high blood pressure, and all these stupid things. You know, people suffer from when you are getting older. So Larry King asked him a question. Why are you so, you look good and so and so? Galogal, you know, Larry, what you put inside, it appear outside. So which means that he eat healthy. He take care of himself. You know, eat healthy food, and that's why he look good. So if we don't take care of our own problem inside South Sudan, if we don't treat our citizens right, if we don't do infrastructure, if we don't deliver the services, no one is going to respect you outside. You're going to be treated like thugs and trash. And that's why Egyptians have done so. So keep that in mind. And if you're supporting somebody, support them, please, with mental conviction. That's so important. We have to challenge each other. We have to accept self-criticism. Like from my clan, from my what I'm and just for the sake of relating, it's not gonna help, because South Sudan is bigger than me, than you, than others, all of us. The Watan bita Bukura, Watan for all. Watan, we will be there, happy, you know. No one is gonna look at you, oh, where is from? Oh, where is your accent from? You know, oh, you look different. Lakin we need to respect our people. We need to have a strong constitution. It's constitution that will have a fundamental right, the people. Express yourself without any intimidation. Okay? حتى الناس بيقدروا يفكروا كويس، لأنه لو القانون والدستور ما بديك الحرية على إنك تفكر كويس، بمعنى علماء ما بيطلع مننا. We will not gonna have scientists. We will not have those who write theory and think perfectly. لأنه ده بيكون خايف. أنا عندي فكرة كويس عاوز أجيبه، لكن أنا خايف. أنا لو if I brought out my thought or write a book or talk about it, I'll be arrested. If I wrote that good article in the newspaper, I'll be arrested and thrown in the jail, or a non-gunman will shoot me. It is very simple to learn this thing. European, they are tribe, but they got them together. So let us put good inside, and then it will appear good outside, and then we'll be respected. All right? That's obligation of everything. You know, it is a collective responsibility for every citizen. Every citizen. Yes, we don't have power. It's a mind of power and a mind of power. But the power that you have is to talk to your uncle, is to talk to your aunt, is to talk to someone related to you in national security, in the police. Treat citizens with respect. Let us be nice and we'll be okay. That's what we need to happen. So let me go ahead and see who are else here waiting, and I can bring them so they can have their point of view heard as well. I'm still stuck here with Gordon Kong, legendary singer. I love his song. So let me see who else. I think I have more people here requested. Charles Deng, I'm calling you, Charles Deng. Charles Deng, I'm calling you. I will call you Joseph. Joseph, human right. You need to send the request. Send the request, and I will call you, of course, brother. I will. Fortunato, you agree with Tuj? That's a good thing. Yeah. Well, sometimes we can disagree, لكن في حاجات بخلينا, you know, we disagree, لكن في حاجات بخلينا نختلف مع بعض. Nationalism, you know, and that's a good thing. And actually, I feel proud when I see you guys write a comment. That shows the level of engagement. You are engaged, actually. Makira, I will try you. Charles, the call fell. He said it fell. I don't know why. So maybe the area that you are sitting in, ma tamam, I don't understand. ممكن نرجع لك تاني ما مشكلة. Adar, Ajak, you have been waiting for a very long time. So Adar, I'll bring you really quick here. Hello.
Dai kapatid Jongkor.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Can you settle and sit down, and then we can hear you, brother?
I'm sitting down and I cannot stand up.
No, I didn't say.
How you doing,
Yeah,
Comrade Jongkor?
Go ahead. Fadal.
Kevin Talela,
I am doing perfect. So we can get your insight.
Very good. It is my first time to be on your show. I do appreciate your social media work. It is a great work. And today you have put on two topics which are more interest to all of us. And that's what have got me to appear on your show.
Okay.
My name, as you have seen there, is Adara Jakshol. I'm from Barkazel, Werrab State. And I'm a leading figure in IO.
Okay.
I'm actually a governor in SPLM IO.
Great. Good to have you.
So your two questions are what have taken note of me. And that's why I requested to be on your show today.
Great.
You have got two questions.
Yes.
The first question or the first topic is, what are the impacts of the culture of defection?
Yes. And succession.
And secession within South Sudanese politics.
Yes.
Which is a very wide and topic. It is not in a very circular of IO or any other political parties within the country.
No.
But
yes, you got it.
Entire nation, which is a very good. The other topics or question is whether Madam Angelina Teny
is in charge of SPLM IO or she is a co-chair of Dr.
Yeah. If you allowed me, I can start with the first question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The first question, the culture of defection, as you put it, it has become a culture. It wasn't a culture of South Sudanese as a community or a society. But when we started our movement, and you can go back to Anyanya 1, 1955, before the independence of Sudan, when the Anyanya was formed. Clearly there were defections within Anyanya until 1972 agreement was signed. And with that signature of 1972 agreement, it wasn't the entire Anyanya which agreed to sign an agreement. Part of it, which were around 75%, including Nasdin as John Garang, Nas Karbino, Salva Kiir, they took that agreement and they went with it to Khartoum to implement it with Numeri. The rest of the other 25%, where you will find Nasdin as a quarter term refused to join that agreement. That in sense, it was a defection of itself, defection from the both sides, because that agreement of 1972 did not give Junubin what they wanted. You could call it, a defection, depending on what side you are, whether you are on the side of Akwara Tim or you are on the side of Joseph Lago. And such defection continues. And until the Nyanya 2 was formed, there were also defections. Until 1983, there were defections. This defection has become a culture, because we kept to repeat it. And there are members within our society,
okay, Charles,
which have benefited from this defection. So it is a culture, but also it is a bad culture that has promoted corruption, nepotism, and a lack of progress. Because every time when a defection occurs at the higher level, you would see the reverse in our progress. And you have mentioned 2004. You said it early 2005. It was actually 2004 when Abu Salva Kiir defected.
Yes.
From the SPLM, which have taken us to what we are now. Because what we are experiencing now, it is the result of Rumbek conference.
Yes.
In 2004. This is what we're suffering from. Because Rumbek conference could not address our problem correctly. And this is what we're suffering from. But defection is bad for us. It's a bad culture. And it's need of us as a young generation and also as concerned citizens to look at it. Awarding the defectors with ranks and position has always been a factor that encourage this culture to be practiced by individuals who take it. But there is a need. We need to revisit the way we treat defection, and for us to avoid it.
Okay.
But I think this is a bad culture.
Yes. So now, go to issue of Angelina Teny. Is she a co-chair with Dr. Riek Machar? Because some individual within the SPLM-IO, they are complaining that actually she's in charge. She's the one that, if she didn't give you the last mark for a go-ahead, and then nothing is going to go ahead on your way. So I want you to give us your insight on this regard. Go ahead.
Well, SPLM-IO is a political organization.
Correct.
We are a political and a military organization. We have aims and objectives and values that we want to achieve in South Sudan. These aims and objectives and values do not only benefit us as members of IO, but also it benefits the entire country of South Sudan. But the question is, Comrade Angelina in charge of SPLM-IO? No, it's wrong. SPLM-IO is not being run by one individual. SPLM-IO is a political movement, and any political movement or a military movement, as we are combined, you would have a system that run the organization. And then in SPLM-IO, we are not being run by individual, not by Angelina, and not by Dr. We have our own system that runs us. We have a constitution, we have a manifesto, and we do have our own institution. my index political bureau, which it consists of over 25 members. This is an institution within SPLM.
So all these are allegations. They are baseless and they have no. That's what you're saying.
Yes, the SPLMIO is not being run by an individual. It is being run by institution. But there has never been a decision.
And why people are saying this then is in case of Johannes Musa, who actually resigned 3 days ago from IO and claimed that Angelina was the problem. In your opinion, why?
Well, Taban people, the Jongkor people have their own need and interest. You have seen it in 2016 when that incident of 2016 occurred. And the pretext of it was that Taban could not go along with Angelina. That Angelina is in charge of IO. But that was also wrong. Because Taban wanted his own imaginary position, a certain ministry within the government. And when that ministry could not be accorded to him, he decided to work against SPLMIO.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up because it's been a long time, Brother Dor.
Issue of Comrade Johannes. It's very clear. Johannes, we know him. He's a good cadre within our movement, but also he has his own need and his own interests,
ambitions.
And we do wish him well. If he could not achieve what he wanted from SPLMIO, then he, as an individual and a citizen of the nation, he could go and find his interest somewhere. His defection, has he could defect, from the movement just because of someone, then that's wrong. That's wrong.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Brother Dor, for coming on and adding your perspective as well on our show, Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. Please, we may bring you back in other days, to go deeper and deeper, on those things that are happening in IO as well. So thank you so much. Let me go ahead and give opportunity.
One question before I departed. Things you asked most of your interviewers for about the reviews in how Salva Kiir was received in Egypt.
Go ahead.
And the reception of Salva Kiir cannot be solely blamed on Egyptian, as many of us has put it before. It is a shared blame. We as Junubin, we have not put our house together to be respected. And hence, if our head of the state is being received wrongly by other neighboring nations, then we should not blame the nation itself, that the nation that have received our head of the nation. We should also look at ourselves, because there is something wrong with us that give a room to other nations not to receive us, and the way they receive other head of the nation. This is not only shame for Salva Kiir as a head of nation, but also the mushkilat na nahnu ka Junubin. It is a humiliation to all of us, and it has something to do with us. This is how I see it.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, it looked like, your voice, you added with other South Sudanese who have concern as well, the way that President Kiir was received, in Egypt. Well, thank you so much, brother, for coming on and adding your perspective. Please stick around. Let me go ahead and bring other South Sudanese here so we can hear from them as well. So let me see here who is next. Charles, I think you need to send it in. Okay, let me try it because I tried before, but it didn't go through for some reason. It fell by itself. Now I'm calling you, Charles Dane. Charles Dane is dialing. Charles, you can move to area that connection can be okay. Charles, he did the same thing again. He said fell. I don't know why. So I don't know, brother. What happened? One more time. A dial and dial at the end. He said fell. And I ask all of you guys to go ahead and send in, share this video so other people can get it as well. Please, 105, go ahead and share it so we can reach more people, to get the message, what we have been talking. Charles is still saying that I'm waiting, yes. Fell again, Charles. I'm sorry, brother. I don't know what happened. I think maybe the network is not good. So it looked like it didn't work for that. With that, I think we would be able, to conclude our show today. So as you can see that the topic we were discussing, actually the culture of defection in South Sudanese politics and succession also. We didn't though touch a lot about succession because we know that the president is still in the power and he remains in the power, and nobody succeeded him since he became a president of the country. But the culture of defection has become a big thing. It become something that causing more destruction, because if we are defecting from one organization to another, we should go for a change that we believe in that is going to do something. But the notion that you defect from here and go there, and then all of a sudden, you defect from there, so it shows that there is hypocrisy here, in the politics, which is, it doesn't make any sense. Also, we were, addressing the issue of Angelina Teny, that some people actually are complaining and they are thinking that Angelina, she's the one that in charge and they are not able to move, forward within the organization. So we have some, individuals who came to our show today and they spoke. So with this, I think I would like, to conclude, and also next week, inshallah, we'll be focusing on another topic. Another topic with more, to come. So, like I said from the beginning, and also we talk about the issue, President being received, and it is a collective responsibility for all concerned citizens of South Sudan to do their job. Because sometimes, when we are divided among politicians, we tend not to move anywhere. We tend not, to achieve, the objectives, of our country, or for services to be delivered to the people of South Sudan. So I need you to call your uncle, to call your aunt, to call whatever, Please support someone with mental conviction. I keep repeating this all the time, because it's so important for all of us, to do that. So let me go ahead here and conclude. Yes. So let's go ahead and conclude, because we have been, running this for a very long time. Inshallah, next week we will have another topic with more. And I hope you're right, my brother, Natalie. Angelina, if she's more willing to, to accept my invitation, would be so amazed. Even those government officials, I have been extending, invitation to them, but they have refused, to come to our forum. They degrade this forum. They think it's nothing, but it's not the way that they, they think, because the forum is reaching out to a lot of South Sudanese all over the world. If you want really your message to go across, There is a need to have that conversation with South Sudanese. The notion that you are refusing to speak with South Sudanese, it shows that you are hiding something, which is we are not, entitled to discuss, but we have to know exactly what are you doing behind the scene. We have that. We want our country to move forward. We want our country. We want to see the peace agreement. I think we need to focus for the next coming shows on the peace agreement and what stage now peace agreement have reached. It's so important. Thank you so much for being part of this, and thank you for staying and listening and contributing. Keep interacting, keep having conversation. It's so important. Thank you and have a good night.